Count on the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts to recommend the best products for your vehicle and budget. Get maximum cooling system performance for 10 years or 300,000 miles with peak long life universal pre-mixed antifreeze and coolant. Now just $3.99 after mail-in rebate. Limit supply. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
When you download the Home Depot app, taking on big or small projects starts with a tap. It's your pocket-sized toolbox for getting more done. Image search helps you find what you need with a snap. Store mode pinpoints exactly where to go to get what you want while you're at our store. Or just tap to arrange for easy curbside pickup, all from the palm of your hand. It's the app that's made for doing. The Home Depot app. How doers get more done.
All right, everybody, happy Monday. Welcome in. It is the Justin Kidder Show with Kev Nash, live here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Excited to be with you here on a Monday. Mr. Kev Nash, happy Monday. Welcome in.
What up, though?
Nothing is up. We're going to talk NBA for 3 hours today. We're not talking NFL. You think I'd become numb to, dreading the 3 o'clock hour to address, I have to face the fire now, The thing that people drive me crazy with is, and by the way, welcome in everyone to the Justin Kidder Show with Kev Nash, live on 1410 Wing AM. We're streaming live at wingam.com and, of course, live on Facebook and ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel, so make sure you go and check us out on all of those platforms. I need to start with this because I heard KB reference my scenario that I had presented to everyone on Friday. You do realize that wasn't an opinion. That wasn't a hot take. The people that just it wasn't a hot take. If that this, why are you scrunching your face? You got to understand something. Kenner didn't make that scenario up. If the Browns would have won and the Bengals would have lost, the Browns would have been in first place. That's not an opinion. That is a fact. That is so if the World Series coming up, if the Astros win 4 of the 7 mother freaking games, they're the World Series champions. If they don't, are they going to say, Kenner, that was a hot take you had. If the Astros would have won 4 of 7, they would have won the World Series. No, that's a fact. That's what would have happened. That's what will happen if they win 4 of 7. So when I said if the Browns win and the Bengals lose, that the Browns will be in first place, that wasn't an opinion. That was a fact. We're going to get to the end of the season coming up. Mm-hmm. And you know what's going to happen? All these prognosticators out there are going to put out these things called prognostications of, the playoff scenarios. Here's what happens. This team needs to win. This team would have to lose. Then this team over here would have to tie or lose. Those aren't hot takes. You're not going to get mad at them if none of those scenarios pan out or if one pans out and the rest don't. So why are we doing that to me? Why am I the bad guy for pointing out a factual thing that could have happened? Y'all can kiss it, especially you. I wasn't even going to go at you, but you were scrunching your face when I was talking. So what up?
Because you put the caveat on there, ... that the Falcons will beat the Bengals and the Bengals will beat the Ravens.
Semantics here. I mean, that's not the point. That's not the point.
That's exactly the point.
But that's not what these idiots are trying to come at me and tell me. You're not an idiot.
I'm not talking about them. I'm not having a conversation with them. I'm having a conversation with you. So that's what I'm scrunching my face up for. That's why I would say, you kind of made a prediction on what was going to happen in Cincinnati, and you kind of made a prediction what was going to happen with the Browns and the Ravens, and neither of them came true, and now you're in third place.
Well, yeah. We're not in last?
No.
So there is that.
No, you're not in last.
We do have that going for us.
3 interceptions by my rookie quarterback.
So Ron Broadstock on Facebook, he goes, can we just call it Meltdown Mondays? That's basically what Monday is for me every single week. Ron Broadstock says it's his favorite Mondays. We should just start calling them Meltdown Mondays. Rolando, what up, Rolando? He's been coming out to Frickers and hanging out with us more than just the last couple Sundays. But we met him during the playoff run last year. It's kind of funny. I don't see Rolando all last season until all of a sudden. Man, I didn't even see him the week that they played the Raiders. It was, they beat the Raiders. Now Rolando comes strutting into Frickers. His face is all painted. He's all big old Bengals fan, right? No, I like Rolando. He's good people. But he says, don't start. Don't start what? Oh, what? I'm going to start out like the Bengals do. I'm going to start out hot and then just kind of fade the rest of the way. Well, that's what I say.
Well, they started out cold and they're starting to warm up.
I meant yesterday's game. They started out as hot as could be. By the way, I can't criticize what Joe Burrow looked freaking amazing yesterday. Looked amazing. That's all I got. I mean, that's as hot take-ish as I get. By the way, we're live on Facebook, live on YouTube. You could check us out there and jump in on the conversation, but that's where we're picking up. Mark Smith, hashtag Kinner was wrong. Those were scenarios, Mark. That was not.
Don't make me, Kenner. Don't make me. We're only 5 minutes into the show.
Brandon Kelty says, because you act like a troll about it. No, because you guys are sensitive ass fans. That's what your problem, Brandon. I don't act like a troll about it. How is it I'm a troll because I'm saying things you don't like, but you say things I don't like? So does that make you a troll? I'm just curious. I want to know how this works. What is the definition of a troll? The definition of a troll is anybody that says something bad about your team. But then aren't we all trolls because don't we all say something bad about somebody's team at some point in all of our miserable lives? I don't know. I think even Kev, who most people would not consider a troll. Pretty sure you've said something bad about someone's team before that would technically make you a troll.
I'm about to look up Urban Dictionary's definition of a troll.
Yeah, well, you're
Give
at
me a moment.
Look up the same spot that you find trap game. Congratulations to the Buckeyes for winning the trap game.
You weren't satisfied with their trap game victory? Not good enough for you?
It was a trap. They won the trap game.
Not trap.
And by the way, it was a trap game. They won the trap game just because
they
won.
Passed the test.
I think that was more like a pop quiz, like an open book pop quiz. Iowa, a test, a 3-3. Now
they passed the test of a trap game.
A trap game is not a test. That's just it's just a definition of what a game is. Why are we doing this again? I thought I educated you last week, Kev. Come on.
I'm asking you if it's a trap game and they passed the test of a trap game. Yes or no?
Not that. I mean, they did what they're supposed to. They put 50 up. If a bad day for Ohio State is still 50, and they didn't have the greatest day,
they did.
That's what makes Ohio State so damn special. Is the fact that they did not have their best day on Saturday. Get my days mixed up, and they still put 50 up on one of the top defenses in the country. So we'll get to the college football side of things later. Let's see. Jesse Terry says, you're being very undude, Kinner. Calm down, little buddy. Oh, little buddy. Oh, I got your little buddy, right?
That wasn't nice. That wasn't nice.
My gosh. Brandon says you purposely antagonize people to get your interactions. No, that's the thing. I truly despise the Bengals.
No, this isn't an act. This is truly who he is.
I truly I'm disgusted with the Bengals and their fan base. I'm impressed with how they looked yesterday, by the way. But I have like a lot of really close friends. We hang out all the time, and there's quite a few Bengals fans within that group. And like, I'm rude to them. I always tell them, I love you guys, but I hate you on Sundays, just so we're all clear. But it is what it is. Let's see. Ryan Strong says trap game next Monday. What's the spread? Fight me, Ryan. How about that? Doug Toby says in the dictionary under troll, it says Kinner. This is coming from the guy, Kev, that if you look at his Facebook profile picture, it's Brutus peeing on the Michigan M, and he's going to call me a troll. That's what we're doing. And I like that your hat, by the way. I like your hat.
Thank you.
What's your hat say?
Trap
game. Exactly. I don't know if you meant to do that.
No, it's the only hat I saw. First hat I saw this morning that matched what I had on. I need a haircut.
Yeah. But the Bengals dominate the Falcons yesterday, 35-17. Joe Burr completes 34 of 42 for 481 yards and 3 touchdowns against the worst passing defense in the National Football League. All facts, not opinion. This is just a fact. He did throw for that many yards. He dominated. He seems to like to pick on the very, very bad defenses. He does. I mean, not a lot of quarterbacks out there can have consistent success against the worst passing defenses in the NFL. But if we can all have a serious moment, I have no problem having a serious moment about the Cincinnati Bengals. They are ascending while a lot of teams are flatlining or getting worse. Yeah. That's something I can't deny. I'm watching a Cleveland Browns team that started out 2-0, and they've lost 5 straight. So, I mean, I'm watching that team just get worse. Although we'll get to the Browns in a moment. I thought they actually looked better yesterday, but we'll get to that game in a moment. Looking better doesn't give you anything in the wins and the losses column. The crazy thing is good as the Cincinnati Bengals have been the last couple of weeks, this isn't like the college football playoff where we kind of gauge you on how you look on Saturdays. This is where you're at right now at 4-3. If the playoffs started today, the Bengals aren't even in the playoffs right now. That's kind of how, wonky the AFC has been this upcoming season. But Joe Burrow last night or yesterday afternoon, I want to be clear here. The way he looked yesterday, the way Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and my gosh, even Tyler freaking Boyd yesterday, You want to know why I get so irritated with the Cincinnati Bengals? Is because I know that they could do that every single week. And my problem with them, Kev, is they don't. I don't expect Joe Burrow to throw for 480 yards every single week. But my point is he should look as dominant as Josh Allen. He has more weapons than Josh Allen. He has more weapons than Patrick Mahomes. But yet, this is why I've been as critical as I have been on the Cincinnati Bengals, especially this season. Maybe last year was a little bit of a trolling effort, but let's be clear, I don't think even the most diehard Bengals fan outside of Charlie believed that their team was good enough to not just, win some games, but win the division, get to the playoffs, get to the Super Bowl, and be within one play of winning the Super Bowl. None of you thought that a year ago. So that doesn't make me a troll last year for saying that this team's not good enough to win last year. Now, I did it every single week all the way up to Super Bowl Sunday. I hope I don't have to do that again this year, but that's where we're at. So when I see the team look like they did yesterday, I don't think I'm wrong for holding that team to a standard of maybe not 480-yard passing yards a game, but my goodness, they should overwhelm teams. Josh Allen overwhelms team, and he has less weapons than Joe Burrow. Patrick Mahomes overwhelms teams, and he has less weapons than Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, every once in a while, overwhelms teams. Joe Burrow is not an overwhelming force that hits you every single week. Once he gets to that point, my goodness, look out. I will quit radio. All right. The second that Joe Burrow becomes Joe Burr every single week and not just once every couple of weeks, because that's what he does. He'll have a great game like this. And then when he loses to the Browns a week from tonight, and then I'm going to be ha, 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 ha the whole time. Can't wait. Can't wait for Halloween, by the way. But the point is this is why all of you Bengals fans should just pipe down when your team's not playing well and people are criticizing them. Because then what you guys do is you come out and say, see, I told you, all while looking stupid because your team is 4-3. This is why I've been so hard on the Bengals, is because they shouldn't be 4-3. They shouldn't have been. I mean, a scenario would have played out yesterday that they could have been a last place team. Had they lost to the Falcons, the Browns won, and the Steelers won, which the Steelers almost won and the Browns almost won. All right. It's not like that scenario was that far off from potentially happening. The Bengals could just as easily be a last place team, even right now, as they are, right there at the top of the division. So, no, Bengals fans, you don't get to do this whole, ha, I told you so thing, because right now they're digging themselves out of a hole that they basically almost buried themselves in. Oh, they were so close to being undefeated, but they're not. They're a team that was in the Super Bowl last year that bettered their roster, that started out 0-2, and now is only 4-3. I can't deny how well that they are playing. This is the first stretch this season, Kev, where the Bengals have put back-to-back great offensive performances together. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase finally back-to-back games where they're dominating. So with that being said, I'm not telling you your team's bad. I was telling you that your team is playing bad. Joe Burrow was not elite. The Bengals have not been elite. But you know what they look like yesterday? They looked elite. All right. I did say, I was joking yesterday. People call it trolling. I was joking, but I said, watch, the Bengals are not going to overwhelm them for 4 full quarters because they came out so freaking hot in that first quarter, Kev. I was like, they almost came out a little too hot. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way you can sustain that dominance for an entire 4 quarters. So I said, I'm curious to see once that heat wears off a little bit, where do they go? Then all of a sudden it was a 2-possession game at halftime when the game should have been done. But again, they just give the defense credit in the second half. They just, again, suffocated the Falcons to not give them any kind of hope in that second half. So I'll give credit where credit's due. Joe Burrow, yes, yesterday fan-freaking-tastic. People, yes, I did point out that they played the worst passing defense in the NFL because they did. And that's what Joe Burrow does. Last year, the 500 or the 400-plus yard games that he had, the 2 ones he had, the Ravens had no secondary help, one of the worst passing defenses in the league, and the Chiefs had one of the worst defenses in the National Football League. You could say I'm discrediting it. All I'm pointing out is yes, you guys use games against and by the way, if the Browns did this, if Deshaun Watson was playing and Deshaun Watson threw all over bad defenses, you guys know you would be trying to discredit anything my team does with pointing out the same things. I'm just fighting fire with fire. That's all I'm doing. But the bottom line is we should see more of that. Not 400-yard passing games. That's not realistic. I can't even expect that out of Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. But what we need to see from Joe Burrow and the Bengals moving forward is what we've seen the last 2 weeks. Their offense needs to overwhelm teams. The defense does not need to win them football games. It needs to, of course, keep games from slipping out of hand. But that defense is pretty damn good too. I saw a stat from Jay Morrison. The Bengals, I think, are like within, I believe, about 20 yards away of being a top 10 offense and top 10 defense. Already a top 10 defense. They're so close. Again, trying to dig themselves out of the hole that they put themselves in the first couple weeks. This is one of the most well-rounded teams in the NFL. That's why when you brag to me about how damn good your team is, I say, then how are you only 2 games better than the Browns? How are you at one point yesterday? I thought they were only going to be 1 game better than the Browns. Like, the Browns should not be anywhere sniffing near where the Bengals are at. We're not keeping up with you. You're hanging down with us. Y'all need to make sure that before you start running your mouth that you let your team breathe a little bit, because I'm still not sure. And by the way, you are who your record says you are. Joe Burrow's a 500 quarterback. He wins a lot of games. He loses a lot of games. I'm curious to see where they go from here, Kev, because when they start feeling themselves, sometimes that's their worst enemy. We'll see what happens with Joe Burrow and the Bengals moving forward. The good thing for them is they got this Browns team that's fighting amongst one another right now. They're playing like absolute garbage. I would say that the season's on the line next Monday. I'm sure I'll come up with some kind of garbage to get people invested into the game, but we all know the Browns are done. They're in the basement with the Steelers. We're fighting over a top draft pick that we won't even get because we've already given it away at this point. So, it's a long season, and there's a long season left to go, but I don't feel too good about the Browns' chances. This opening segment's about the Bengals, but your thoughts on all that I just spewed out for about 6 minutes straight without breathing.
Go ahead, take a breather. The Cincinnati Bengals, I like the word that you use. They're ascending. They're getting right. You know, all the mumbo jumbo about like not playing during the preseason, warming up to the regular season, being on the same page, not only offensively, but defensively as well, making the adjustment to how they're being played this year versus how they were played last year. All those things are starting to happen for the Cincinnati Bengals. And I asked KB during the Keith Byers show out at there at Lee's Chicken today, like, where would you rather be right now? Would you rather be playing for the Ravens, or would you rather be playing for the Cincinnati Bengals? Even though the Ravens have the victory over them, even though the Cincinnati Bengals are 0-2 division, the Cincinnati Bengals look like they're headed in the right direction. Where you talked about with the Ravens, they look like they're just slowly but surely going downward.
Yeah.
So it's there for the Cincinnati Bengals to take this division again, because I mean the Steelers are done, the Browns are done, and it's between the Ravens and the Bengals, and they're gonna play
I don't
again.
even know if it's that. I think it's the Bengals are ascending. The Ravens, they're not getting better. They're not getting worse. They just are who they are. Like, I think if you look at all the season, win one, lose one, win one, lose one. Like, I don't know. I think here by the time we get to week 9 and 10, I think this is the Bengals division to lose at this point, and that makes me absolutely nauseous just even uttering those words.
Yeah,
it's your part, my fault.
But no, but like you're right. Like the ascension of a team and the descension of everybody else is all in Cincinnati's favor. Like you can start, like we talked about this with the Pittsburgh Steelers like 2 years ago when they started out like 11-0, and all right, we're riding high, we're rolling, and then we're all of a sudden we're not, and then the train just fell off the track. So it's kind of where you want to be now. Do you want to be winning games now and looking good doing it, and things are starting to click for you, or do you just want to be scraping by? And that's how the Ravens are looking like. They're looking like they're just scraping by. Now, those wins count. They count all the same, just like a loss counts the same. But like how you look is how you feel. And I think that the locker room for the Cincinnati Bengals feels a lot better than the Ravens right now.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on Dayton's ESPN radio station 1410. Wing AM reaction to the Bengals win over the Falcons. Someone shot me a note. I've been getting like, why do people email me? I don't get why people email me. We're live on Facebook. Contact me there. I'm not going to respond to emails, but you're more than welcome to email me. But the Facebook, but emails today, people getting angry. I swear you're just sitting at your cubicles at work and just bored with work and like, oh, I freaking hate Kinner. You know what? I'm just going to tell him what's up. I had a guy threaten me over the weekend, by the way.
On email?
No, on Facebook. He threatened me. He said, I'm coming for you. I'll find you. And I was like, what does that even mean? Like, it's Halloween. Serious? I'm already a little bit more jumpy during the month of October as it is. Every time I go to the grocery store.
Goodness gracious. I'm not that serious, people.
That's why I said it's not religion. It's what I haven't said this in a while. I think I'm about to make this the new moniker, return the moniker of the show. It's sports talk, folks. It's not religion. It's not politics. It's sports talk. But if you tell me one more time that the Cincinnati, no, I'm just joking. But so anyways, let's see. We're live on Facebook. Your takes, want to hear them on there or read them on there. I can't hear them on there. I'm sure some of you are screaming at your computer or phone right now, though. Richard Boyd says, get real, man. The Bengals' success or failure does not revolve around the Browns. All right, Mr. Boyd. You do realize that I try to keep Browns and Bengals separate. Kevin can attest to this because he also runs our ESPN Dayton social media pages. And Kev knows this. You cannot post a Browns post without one of you morons saying "Who Day." Stop telling me to stop bringing up the Browns when talking Bengals when I can't talk Browns without y'all doing the Who Day thing. Mr. Boyd, I love you, but come on. I don't try to make it. And by the way, they have to be about one another because it's all about the division. I do believe every time I talk Bengals, I bring up the Ravens or Steelers as well. But your dislike for the Browns, the trigger word is Browns. You hate that. That's why y'all get mad. That's why y'all get angry. That's why I'm mad. That's why I'm angry. That's why we're all mad and angry, because we all love and hate everything around our team. So yes, I do not, we're at the point now where the Browns and Bengals, yes, that's a rivalry. And that rivalry definitely boils over on this show because I can't stand Bengals fans. But I also know I have to be just nice enough to y'all for y'all to tune in every day from 3 to 6 because the bosses say, well, maybe you should just pretend to be a Bengals fan. I will quit before I pretend to be a Bengals fan. I'm not going to pretend to be I'm not going to stoop to y'all's level. I ain't going to do that. Absolutely not. David Shaw with the pill emojis.
Yeah, you definitely need them.
Tyler Fife says, don't lose your cool, Kidder. Oh, I haven't yet.
Too late.
I haven't yet.
That happened around about 4:00 yesterday.
Wait, what? Brandon Kelty says, yeah, what?
You lost your temper around 4:00 yesterday?
We'll get to that in a moment. How do you not go to a store? Laugh my ass off. What did you just say? I said, I can't go to a store without being jumpy. I can't go get gas without being jumpy. Now I got some guy telling me he's looking for me. He's going to find me.
Yeah, Jesse rolled up on you at the...
Yes, maybe it's... Chad Kinster says, I honestly don't think it's as much of a rivalry as Cleveland and Pittsburgh or Cincy and Pittsburgh. Cincinnati and Pittsburgh's not a rivalry because for it to be a rivalry, both sides have to hate one another. You guys do realize Pittsburgh doesn't hate the Bengals. They laugh at the Bengals. Even while the Steelers are down in the dumps right now, they still think it's adorable what Cincinnati's doing over there. As Steve from Springboro would say, the Pop Warner team over on the river. Okay. I've told you guys this story many, many times, but I'll never forget the time we had Jerome Bettis on the show and I was all, trying to feed into, it was Bengals Steelers week. And I even said it like that. Jerome, it's Bengals Steelers week. It's a big rivalry. And he started laughing. And I'm like, oh crap, what did I say? I was like newer at the time. This is back when I actually cared if I, annoyed a guest or not. And he said, rivalry. And he goes, absolutely not. In fact, he said that he doesn't look at the Bengals. The Steelers organization does not view the Bengals as a rival. They're not a rival. The Steelers look at the Bengals and they laugh at them. He said he laughs at the Bengals. He said he actually thanks the Bengals because he had more yards against the Cincinnati Bengals than any other team in his Hall of Fame career. He goes, if you take out all the yards he had against the Bengals, he wouldn't even sniff the Hall of Fame. So no, it's not a rival, Chad. I don't believe that whatsoever. All right, the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, 518-1410. That's the number you can call and jump in on the conversation. Appreciate everyone interacting on the Facebook page, but we're opening up the phone lines so you guys can jump in on the conversation there. Just give us a few minutes while we get some of these paid advertisements in, and we'll be right back on the other side. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM.
The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
The mid-afternoon and early evening will be partly cloudy, a high near 80. Tonight's going to be partly cloudy, a low near 55. And tomorrow will be partly cloudy, a high near 80. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Weather is brought to you by Cullet Propane. 98% of their customers recommend Cullet. If you wouldn't recommend your current supplier, check them out at culletpropane.com.
Hey, Buckeye fans, as the official wing sponsor of your Ohio State Buckeyes, Roosters is giving away 12 trips for two to this year's Buckeye Bowl game. Each trip comes complete with airfare, hotel, gift bag, and 2 tickets to the big game. One bowl prize winner chosen each week, along with other cool Roosters weekly prizes. So register every week at roosterswings.com. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Official contest rules at roosterswings.com.
My dad has a cold, but also has high blood pressure. That's why I got him Vicks DayQuil High Blood Pressure for max strength daytime relief. Unlike some ordinary cold medicines, it's specially formulated for people like my dad. DayQuil High Blood Pressure is sugar-free, alcohol-free, and decongestant-free.
Vicks DayQuil High Blood Pressure. The daytime, non-drowsy, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, cold, and flu for people with high blood pressure.
Like my dad.
Medicine. Use as directed.
Were you exposed to hazardous materials while serving in the military and have an illness or condition as a result?
If so, you may be eligible for VA benefits and services. Whether you need health care or want to file a disability compensation claim related to military exposures, VA is here to help. Visit va.gov/military-exposures to learn more and apply today.
You served your country. Now let VA serve you.
Let's be real. Mopping is a hassle. You have to fill the bucket, pushing a wet, heavy mop around, then cleaning the mop when you're done so it doesn't grow bacteria. A hassle on top of a hassle. Try Swiffer WetJet. With Swiffer WetJet, you start with a fresh pad and cleaning solution every time. And when you're done, you just toss the pad. Swiffer WetJet, the faster, easier, cleaner way to clean your floors.
Finding the right Medicare plan? Oof, no easy feat. Kind of like those dances my granddaughter loves making me do. But then I found Walgreens FindRx coverage. Lets you compare plans online, over the phone, or in person. Made Medicare shopping so easy. Plus,
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Germain Honda Beaver Creek is your local Honda dealer. If you've been waiting to buy, now is the time. For a limited time, we have 22 Honda Passports and 22 Honda Pilots with financing as low as 1.9% and 2022 Honda Ridgelines with financing as low as 2.9%. Remember, we can get the Honda you're looking for. We are taking deposits on current scheduled in-build new Hondas every day. See me, Sales Manager Jason High, for all the details. We're on Route 35 just east of 675 between Xenia and Beaver Creek. Germain Honda Beaver Creek, the right car, the right price, the right way.
God, I'm so stressed. Our business is growing. We've got people all over now.
Uma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending Uma and their all-in-one phone, video, and collaboration solution.
Uma?
Yep. Switching to Uma is a cinch. Just $24.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Uma.
Now you're feeling it. Visit Uma.com. That's OOMA.com to learn more. Uma. Smart communications for the smarter business.
Dr. Travis Stork here to tell you about a great pain reliever called Salon Pass Pain Relieving Patches. Salon Pass is pain medicine in a patch. You stick it right on sore muscles for up to 8 hours. Clinical research has shown that people that used Salon Pass reported less pain with improvement in mood, sleep, and the ability to work. Safe, effective relief is one peel and place away. Salon Pass, it's good medicine.
The best audio entertainment this fall is on Audible. It's the home of storytelling with audiobooks, exclusive originals, popular podcasts, and more. All in one app. Sign up for a free 30-day trial at audible.com.
Hey everybody, it's Stephen A. Smith, and everyone knows my feelings on Cowboys fans. But really, Justin Kenner, you're a Cowboys fan and a Browns fan? Good Lord have mercy. I don't know what the hell to do with y'all. I really don't.
It's the Justin Kenner Show with Kev Nash. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
518-1410, 518-1410. That's the number that you can call and jump in on the conversation. I'm Justin Kinner. He's Kev Nash, and we're hanging out with you here on a Monday, coming out of the weekend, of course, and NFL Week 7. Technically going to wrap up tomorrow, tonight. I'm sorry. Tonight, the wraps up tonight, Monday Night Football, but we'll get to previewing Week 8. Again, the Browns and Bengals Halloween night, a week from tonight. We'll talk about that in a moment. Get ready, Ohio. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is coming to the Buckeye State. And to kick things off, you can get started with $100 in free bets as an early sign-up bonus. Plus, when you sign up today using my promo code Kinner, Kinner, you will get $100 in free bets right off the bat as an early registration bonus. So we appreciate those who are already taking the time, although sports betting is not legal yet. It will be here in the next couple of months. We just want you to be prepared. So download, again, the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It is free. It's safe, secure, easy to use. Come on, Ohio. This is your chance to get in on the action. Join today using my promo code Kinner, Kinner. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Here's the deal. Someone shot me a note on Facebook yesterday. They're like, I don't really pay attention to how other people do with gambling, but I feel like you would be really bad at it. Yep. I'm very intrigued when my $100 in free bets is waiting for me because I'm cool and I use my own last name to get my free $100 in free bets. There should be like an over-under bet on how long before I lose the $100 in free bets that I have coming my way come January. So we'll see.
We'll see.
Well,
you have a strategy when you bet, so you're
Yes.
always happy.
And Kev's a big fan of this, and he's like, Kenner, it's the smartest thing I've ever heard you say.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'm always like, Kev, thank you. I appreciate that. You're always you're my rock. You're my biggest supporter out there. But yes, you always bet against your team. Ohio State, Penn State this weekend. Guess who I would vote for? My goodness, it is almost November. Sorry, guess who I would bet for? I would bet on Penn State to win. Oh, but you're a horrible Buckeye fan. You know what? I don't care. It's money involved. Now, if I bet on Penn State to win, okay, cool. If Penn State wins, I make good money. But if Penn State loses, I may be out some money, but I'm going to go to bed happy no matter what because the Buckeyes won. So you always go to bed happy. Always bet against your team. Bengals fans, bet on the Browns to win next Monday. I promise. Because if the Browns beat the Bengals, nice little payout, of course. You go to bed happy. You won money. And then if the Bengals beat the Browns, sorry, it just sounded funny saying it because Joe Burrow can't beat the Browns. Anyways, then you go to bed happy. Your team wins or you win money. It's bulletproof, Kev. It's bulletproof.
Did you bet on Iowa to beat the Buckeyes this weekend?
You don't bet on trap games. All right, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Reaction to the Bengals dominating win over the Falcons, 35-17. It's not really so much about the score. I've said this before, that there are some of those games that the Bengals lost that had they won, yeah, you got to feel good. A win's a win, as I always get annoyed with. I hate sports cliches. A win is a win, and it keeps you afloat. But there are wins that sometimes you don't feel good about. I don't want to get into college yet. Ohio State put up 50 on Iowa. There's a lot of Buckeye fans who still don't feel the most comfortable because we're watching Alabama and Tennessee play, top football right now. Georgia's dominating. Michigan's actually they're really kind of getting people on board. Ohio State didn't play the best the other day. They won, but a win's not always a win because we still I don't feel great about that win. That's where I would be at with Cincinnati. Cincinnati could have, let's say they beat the Cowboys that week. Would you have felt great about that win? All right, at least we got a win following the Pittsburgh game. But you wouldn't have felt good about it because Joe Burrow still looked average. The offense and the defense didn't look great. So, but yesterday, the last 2 weeks, though, those wins have to feel good if you're a Bengals fan because you're doing it with your strengths. Barely edging by a team in playing a bad game, you don't really feel good about that. You feel lucky. You feel fortunate. Feeling fortunate about a win and feeling good about a win are two different things. So that's how I feel. Like yesterday, if the Browns were to beat the Ravens, I would have felt really good about that win because I thought the Browns actually played a pretty solid game. Jacoby Brissett didn't cost them anything. I would have liked to see more of the run game. And all that stuff. The defense actually was not terrible. So I was actually pleased with that if they would have won. But at the end of the day, it is one of those scenarios that, it's a win's not always a win. The Bengals should feel good about the last 2 weeks because they won because of the pass game. That when I think of the Bengals, their identity is not Hendrickson. It's not Hilton. It's not that defense, although that is why they've been in position to win football games. When I think of the Bengals, I think Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
And if you're winning games and they're not playing great, feel fortunate about the win, but you won't feel good about the win. I would feel good about the last 2 weeks with their way they won football games, Kev, because their offense is overwhelming teams now. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, back-to-back weeks. I don't want to see that going actually because the Browns are up next, but I would feel good about it if I'm a Bengals fan.
Absolutely. You talked about it. I mean, I know from the coach's standpoint, they think a win is a win and they much rather be fixing problems on the team with a win. But as a fan perspective, You want to look good. You want to feel good on Monday. You want to talk trash on Monday. You don't want to be like, oh, man, we barely skated past team so-and-so. Like, man, we blew them out like we were supposed to, and you can come in here with your chest out and everything like that. That's the fans' perspective. But from the players and coaches' perspective, they just want to win and fix the problems with the win. They don't want to still have to fix problems and have to be like, well, we lost too. It's just one of those situations.
All right, so the Bengals are 4-3 right now. And again, if the playoffs started today, they technically wouldn't be in the playoff, but there's so much more time to go, so it doesn't really matter. But that does show you how wonky things are. Like, I feel like the Bengals are behind the Chiefs and the Bills right now. I think the Bengals are probably the third hottest team in the AFC right now, which is what should have been the vibe from the very beginning. But you can't go back and change what has happened. You can only take care of what you're doing right now, and that's why Bengals fans should feel pretty good about it, even though I feel nauseous about it. And you know what? Good for them, beating up on the worst passing defense in the National Football League. And Mark Smith, enough. He goes, can I get a who day in the chat? Look at Ron Broadstock, who day. Look at Brian McCoy coming in with the who day. Damon Hahn. Isn't Damon Hahn, are you a Steelers fan? Really? Maybe Damon Hahn's. I thought he was the Eagles fan. It don't matter. What is happening right now? All the who days coming in. We're not doing that.
Flooding the chat with who days, eh?
I wonder if on this system, if I can customize, like if I could block certain phrases and words. And names like Shaw, like just block them all. All right, now 518-1410. Let's enough of us talking, especially me talking. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Centerville. We got Ivy. Ivy, how are you? Welcome.
Good. How are you guys doing today?
Not too bad. Are you a Bengals fan? What's your story? I don't think you've called in before. Are you the guy that said that you'll be looking for me? I don't know. Are you about to yell at me?
No. I was the guy that called in and said the reason that Kevin's last name is Nash is because what he does with his teeth when you go on your rant. But anyway, but I just want to say I'm a Titans fan. Okay. And as a Titans fan, and lost to the Bengals last year in the playoffs, obviously my heart was broken. I will tell you that I think the Bengals look better this year than they did last year. And I just want to give much kudos to all you Bengals fans out there that give Kenner all the crap in the world, because the best part of this show and the part that makes me listen is the part that I think is funny this year and even last year. You can't stand it when the Bengals are good. You don't know what to do. You have nothing to talk about because your Browns are bad. And until you get your quarterback, if you hang around, you guys will obviously probably be in the playoffs. But you have a good enough team without it. But I just think it's hilarious listening to your show and listen to you try to make excuses for the fact that, hey, I didn't really say that. Well, you did. So
what I say? Hold up. I'm gonna call you Ivy League. Can I call you Ivy League? Ivy League. What did I say? What was I wrong about?
You said that, hey, the Bengals will probably lose, and obviously the Browns will probably win, and none of that ever happened. But it is what it is. And like you said, I wasn't making a hot take. I was just saying if it had happened, they'd have been in first place. Well, exactly. It didn't happen. But you're missing the point of that it didn't happen. I can say ifs and buts. If the Titans had beat the Bengals last year, we'd have been in the Super Bowl, but that didn't happen. So, I just think it's funny listening to you guys. You guys are such a joy to listen to. Kev, I don't know how you do it on a day-to-day basis. My hat's off to you. But
you're the real MVP.
You guys are hilarious. He is. He does it with a smile and a laugh. That's the best part. You guys are fun to listen to. I can't wait to see you guys in the playoffs. That's you Bengals fans, obviously not you, JK. So,
JK. All right. Well, Ivy, hey, man, I appreciate the kind words, man. Yes, I am a pain in the ass, but Kev definitely does a good job. So, hey, I appreciate you, man. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
518-1410, 518-1410. That's the number to call and jump in on the conversation. And yes, I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, man, the Browns, they couldn't have just hung on a little longer. They couldn't have just, got me into early December. I mean, I feel
have they had the bye week yet? No, they haven't had the bye week yet.
I mean, they've taken the last 5 weeks off. Ouch. So Steve Stetler says, Kev is the voice of reason.
I try.
But can we all admit that Kev, who's never wrong on anything, was wrong about the trap game? Like I sleep well at night knowing that I was right and Kev was wrong on something and the trap game thing. And even though he's wearing a trap hat right now.
Definitely not wrong about that.
518-1410. That's the number to call and jump in on the conversation. Let's go to Beaver Creek with Jeff. Jeff, how are you, sir? Welcome.
Guys, how are you?
Good.
I'm
Alrighty.
2-5, so there you go.
Well, I'm a Browns fan, but I'm a numb Browns fan.
Aren't we all? I'm a new Browns fan, so I'm not numb yet.
Yeah, I want to talk a little Buckeyes.
That's fine.
You know what aggravates me as a Buckeye fan is these fans. They put up 54 in Iowa. They win by 44 points, and people were dissecting their game. Michigan beat Iowa by 13.
Yep.
High State doubled the points. They had 27 to 14. I think we're going to go in and beat Penn State.
No, I think a lot of Buckeye fans feel they're going to beat Penn State. But Jeff, this is where as we're getting like further into the season and the college football playoff polls are about to come out here in I think about a week and a half, next week, if I'm not mistaken, a week after. I think this is a product of that. The style points matter in college football. They don't matter in the NFL. I mean, they're used in the NFL to try to get a vibe of who's playing well, who's not, if you don't want to just talk about the record. But I do believe it comes down to Ohio State being nitpicked about that. I think is fair because a lot of teams saw the game of the year last week with Tennessee and Alabama, and we saw how crisp and dominant those offenses looked, and Ohio State didn't look as dominant. Now, we could say they came out of a bye week. We could credit Iowa's defense, which I think is fair to do, but I don't think Ohio State should be so overwhelmingly good that Iowa's defense still shouldn't look as strong as they did at times. I know where you're coming from. We shouldn't be as nitpicky, but I think that we have to be nitpicky because the committee has conditioned us to do so.
Yeah, they can play that game, but I think if we go in and have a 2 or 3 touchdown win against Penn State, we'll be number one. You could stay all the style points you want, but that's a good win on the road against a top 15 team, and and then hopefully we can win the next 3 and get ready for Michigan. So I don't know. It was kind of an up and down first half, but I thought Stroud threw some good balls in the second half. And that kind of shut everybody up because he was throwing some dimes in the second half.
No, he was, and I'm not. And Jeff, Jeff, thank you, man. I appreciate the call. We'll get into some more Ohio State stuff coming up around the corner. We'll definitely get into Ohio State and kind of how they looked against Iowa. Kev was in Columbus for that matchup, so I'm definitely going to get Kev's take on what he kind of witnessed in Columbus for the big trap game victory that Ohio State had over Iowa. But all right, 518-1410. Before we move over to the Browns conversation, Kev, who do we have up?
We got Theo line 2.
Theo on 2. What up, Theo? How are you, sir?
I'm doing real good, man. I just only call for one thing. Well, 2 things. One Ohio State thing. I know everybody is saying I can't even pronounce his last name, but he got hurt.
Jackson Smith and Jigba. Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to say, in my humble opinion, he's good, but he is not the best receiver on that squad. You know who it is?
You can say Marvin Harrison Jr., yeah.
Yes, by far. And I don't know, he makes NFL wide receiver catches. And I watched him deliberately make sure that he had his 2 feet inside the line. I said, this dude, he has definitely inherited all of his father's attributes. Number 2, the Cleveland Browns. I'm so tired of them. That's all I can say. I don't know what else to say. I have exhausted all of my negativity. Hey, go Bucks, go Browns. Y'all have a great day.
Hey, Theo, take care, man. I appreciate the call, man. That Browns insight, that basically just summed up my next segment, to be quite honest with you. We'll get into, I promise you, Ohio State's coming up, and now we're number 2. We'll step away. Appreciate the calls. Bengals fans, get to more of your takes coming up. Like I said, look, the Cincinnati Bengals, wins are wins, yes, but these last 2 weeks, these aren't just wins. This is why I don't like the idea that, a win is a win. Because let's say that the Bengals would have beat the Steelers in week 1. Would the way you would have felt about that win been the same as how you feel about this Falcons win? I don't think so. Now, you could say, well, yes, we love beating the Steelers. Okay, fine. What about the Dallas Cowboys? Let's say you escaped Dallas with that win. You felt, oh, man, we won. That's great. But that Falcons game this week and your game last week, we're not coming out of those saying, yeah, but. we're coming out of those saying Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow have it figured out. Like, that's why I don't always believe in a win's a win. There's a lot of teams like the Giants. How about the Giants being, 5-1 now? How about the Jets being 5-1? And we're looking at them, but we're not believing yet. I know we have them in our top 10 and all that, but Kev, are we putting our money on them to win a Super Bowl? I don't think so.
Biggest levels to it. It's like you have to respect the fact that they're winning games. And I think there's a level of teams that you think that can win the Super Bowl. And obviously, I don't think they're in that tier, but at some point, we still got to give them props for what they're doing because the expectations for both of those teams weren't good coming into the season. I think everybody had them in the lower tier of the league. And, as of now, they're winning a lot of games. And I mean, I can speak from a Steelers perspective. I would much rather be in their shoes than the current shoes that I'm in.
Well, maybe a better example, and because you are right, because they're not starting the race from the same starting block. The Bengals came in with Super Bowl expectations. The Jets and Giants came in with expectations of being bottom feeders of the worst division in football, and now it's kind of carrying a lot of divisions. It's typical football, but the Ravens are a better example to use. The Ravens beat the Browns yesterday. Are Ravens pounding their chest today saying, that's right, we won? No, they feel the Ravens fans are concerned. That should have been the example I used from the beginning. Let's reset that. Ravens fans, they're happy they won yesterday, but do they feel good about that win? Do they feel good about where the Ravens are at? No. And the Bengals beat the Steelers and the Cowboys to start the season. All right. And let's say you would have, when you guys beat when you lost to the Ravens a few weeks ago, if you would have beat the Ravens, there was nothing to feel good about those games. The Bengals did not look good in those games. That's why I don't believe in wins or wins, because even if you would have won those losses, you feel good about being in the hunt and having, a lot more wins, but you don't feel good about where your team is at. Now you're getting wins and you're winning forcefully, and you're doing it because of that pass attack, which is who the Bengals are. That's their identity. And honestly, you have to get comfortable relying on that offense, because they're lucky to have this defense right now, because once all that money is piped into Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins coming up and that offensive line, they're not going to have a dominant defense. They're just not. So for right now, this is why you should feel good. If I'm a Bengals fan, I feel great about the last 2 weeks, just because they're winning, and they're not winning by barely edging by or barely escaping. They're winning because Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are overwhelming opponents, which is what they should have been doing all the way from week one. The Cleveland Browns, 2-5 in the basement with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, our only hope is to finish the season with more wins than the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's a weird, it's a weird team to be kind of going head-to-head with, but that's where we're at. But we got a big matchup on Monday night, a week from tonight, I should say, the Browns and the Bengals. Is the Browns season over already? We'll talk about that when we come back.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Ohio, DraftKings Sportsbook is coming. To celebrate, all new customers will receive $200 in free bets. Plus, 5 lucky customers will win a $100,000 free bet. That's right. DraftKings Sportsbook is giving you $200 in free bets just for signing up today. No deposit required. Plus, you'll be entered to win a $100,000 free bet when you sign up. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and sign up with code WING1410 to get $200 in free bets to use once mobile sports betting hits Ohio. Plus, 5 customers will win a $100,000 free bet only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code WING1410. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966. 21 and up. Physically present in Ohio. Eligibility restrictions apply. See terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Subject to regularity licensing requirements. 1 per customer. $200 issued as $825 free bets. No purchase necessary for sweepstakes. Void where prohibited. Ends first day. DraftKings is allowed to operate in Ohio. See terms at dkng.co/OH.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Don't put it off any longer. You know it's time. Time for a bathroom upgrade by Bath Creations. Bath Creations is a leader in bathroom renovations, providing the very best value in bath and shower remodeling and proudly made in the USA. With Bath Creations, you get a beautiful modern bathroom that's safe, comfortable, and affordable. Attention first responders, veterans, and active military. Save $500 off your purchase right now. Visit Poe Avenue in Dayton or online at mybathcreations.com. And upgrade today. Have you heard? $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right. My friends at Cordell Transportation are now hiring Class A CDL drivers for home daily dedicated lanes, no-touch freight with brand new equipment, and offering a $5,000 sign-on bonus paid over 18 months, paid orientation, company 401k. Plus, they're now hiring recent truck driving school graduates. Apply today. Online at CordellTransportation.com. Driven to succeed.
Visit Menard's Lighting Showroom and find your style with Patriot Lighting. Ceiling fans are an easy way to update the look of any room while helping reduce your energy costs year-round. We carry a great selection of styles and finishes in stock. Get 11% off all ceiling fans and find your style with Patriot Lighting now at Menards. Good through October 30th. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
When getting the job done right is job one, you need construction equipment that's built right. From compact track loaders to the world's #1 selling compact excavator, the Kubota construction lineup features durable Kubota engines, more comfort, and the versatility to do it all and do it right. Visit your local Kubota dealer today. Go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
See Columbus Equipment Company, 7570 New Carlisle Pike in Dayton.
Violent people lurking freely in your neighborhood. It's not a horror film. It's a horrible court decision creating a revolving door for accused violent criminals.
I'm Jason Pappas from the Ohio Fraternal Order of Police. The Ohio Supreme Court recently ruled that the safety of our families can never be considered when setting bail amounts. That's wrong. That's why 25,000 members of the Fraternal Order of Police endorsed Sharon Kennedy, Pat DeWine, and Pat Fisher. They spoke out for public safety.
I'm Justice Sharon Kennedy, and I spoke out because, as a former police officer, I know communities need protection.
I'm Justice Pat DeWine, and I spoke out because public safety must be part of the consideration when setting bail amounts.
I'm Justice Pat Fisher. I spoke out about this problem too. Judges have a solemn responsibility to keep our communities safe.
Vote for Republican Justices Sharon Kennedy, Pat DeWine, and Pat Fisher.
Paid for by the Ohio Republican Party.
Buckeye football season is back. That means tailgating and parties for the big game. You need the Lee's famous recipe Buckeye Bucket. It comes with 25 pieces of the delicious jumbo breast strips for only $44.99. Of course, you can add a few of their famous country side items, buttermilk biscuits, gallons of fresh brewed Lee's iced tea, or lemonade. You have the perfect recipe for a tailgate or watch party. Cheer on the Buckeyes this weekend with a Buckeye Bucket. Order today.
With Discover, you can redeem your rewards for cash in any amount at any time. Learn more at discover.com/redeem-rewards. Terms apply.
Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com.
Justin Kinner, Kev Nash, back with you here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Kev, we wrapped up the high school football season this past Friday night, at least for our ESPN Dayton high school football game of the week. We were in Inglewood. We had Northmont and Springfield. It was 27-21 at the half, and then Springfield just unloaded one of the quickest scoring runs I've ever seen. I mean, they like 55-20 something was the final. I don't even have the notes in front of me, but Anthony Brown, the kid that's going to be playing for Kentucky next year, had 166 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, my goodness, the kid he had 3 catches of 50 or more. I mean, it was unbelievable. It did all that with only like 4 or 5 catches. I mean, the kid's unfreaking. Shondelmeyer's unreal too. The quarterback for them. I've never seen that many pro-style throws in high school, like all in one game and all in one quarter. I mean, it was just unreal. But nonetheless, that was a long game, though. It's like 3 hours. And then you know what annoyed me about that game, too? The guy sitting next to me and Keith in the press box they were there evaluating the officials. So you could just tell when those guys are in there, and I'm sure they're very good at their job. They're all senior guys who've been doing, they were officials themselves, but they're evaluating the officials so they can assign them playoff games and all that stuff. But that's what drives me crazy is I don't even know what the final tally was as far as like penalties were concerned. But I mean, those poor officials, they had to probably ice their shoulder the next day with all the flags that they threw. Kev, we're talking, I didn't get home to like 11. It was like one of the longest high school football. And people are like, why do you guys call so many Fairmont games? Because I'm home. I'm home by 9. They just run the football.
Run.
I mean, I love Fairmont. Just hand off. No, now you got 2 passing off. Keith looked at me. He goes, the first half was an hour and a half. I'm not joking. It was an hour and a half first half. It was 8:30 by the time we got to halftime. And by the way, this isn't me complaining about the kids or the teams or anything like that. But the officials, my goodness. I mean, just their poor shoulders. They probably icing those still to this day. I mean, so many flags. Now, to be clear, stop jumping off sides. Stop
illegal formation.
All that. The delay a game. They were kind of making it a little easy, but you could tell the officials were really trying to put on a show that day, trying to get them little playoff games. Which, hey, do you go chase that bread? Yes, exactly. Speaking of officials, you see that Browns game yesterday?
I did. As everyone knows, my wife is a crazy Cleveland Browns fan, so I have to watch those games with her.
I broke my rule yesterday.
Uh-oh.
I even had to go and change my Facebook post because I broke a rule. I did the whole damn officials. We're getting screwed.
Oh,
I did it. I haven't done that in a long time. Kev, I'm not going to lie. I felt pretty good. I had a good 5-6 year stretch where I never blamed officials for a loss. Actually, to be clear, I'm not blaming yesterday's loss on the officials. I am blaming the officials from keeping us from losing the game in overtime. That's what I was upset about. I wanted to just watch more Browns football, and they robbed us of that. What a bogus call, and the explanation was even worse on that encroachment, or I'm sorry, no encroachment. The center lifted his head, looked back down, snapped it, and then they called false start on the kick on a player that wasn't even on the field.
Right.
And then when they went and rehuddled to evaluate it, I'm like, okay, they'll get this together. But when you take that time, it's one thing if you get the call wrong. Okay, fine. You reevaluate, and then all the officials all agree that, yeah, the player that's not even on the field jumped, led to that. Unbelievable. My takeaway of the Browns yesterday, it was a must-have game. The season was on the line. The 2022 season was on the line yesterday against a division opponent because all the Browns had to do was keep winning enough games to just stay in the hunt. Stay in the hunt, get, Kareem back. Sorry, we're going to talk about Kareem Hunt in a moment. But Deshaun Watson back. And then, that's that light at the end of the tunnel. And again, just to beat people to the punch. I don't stop with your holier than thou takes on Deshaun Watson. We're talking about Deshaun Watson, what he means to the team as a quarterback. That's that light at the end of the tunnel. I think, and a lot of Browns fans thought that we'd be cruising along a lot further than this to where we'd have a fighter's chance when he came back. I don't think there's going to be any chance. I think this team is as good as done at this point. Maybe I'm overreacting. I thought once I slept on it, I'd kind of calm down. I haven't calmed down. Look, the bottom line is you got to win close games. And it's one thing to be in close games. You know who we are right now? Now, I used to make fun of the Lions all the time. Now we're sounding like the Lions. Well, we almost had a chance to beat the Ravens. We almost had a chance to beat the Chargers. Outside of the Patriots, every one of them, the Browns had a shot to win. I don't care about that anymore. Eventually, you could be forgiven in the early stages of a season. But we're officially at week 7. We just wrapped up heading into week 8. Heading into week 8. This would technically be the halfway point of the season before they added foolishly another freaking game. But I'm just going to say it's the halfway point. You kind of are who you are at this point.
Yeah.
You are who you are at this point. This is why the Bengals are in the best shape outside of the Bills and the Chiefs and the Eagles. the team that's in the best shape out of all those three, or outside of those three, is the Cincinnati Bengals, because they're the only one ascending. Can you think of another team that's ascending right now?
I guess you could say the Vikings.
But they've been pretty consistent.
Consistent.
But they're kind of who they are. They're going to win a lot of games. I don't think they're a true threat. Maybe the Niners, but they're trying to get healthy. But you can't get blown out like that yesterday. Like that was not. We'll get to that. You know how I feel about Jimmy G. That was not him. He wasn't the one giving up touchdowns. But point is,
he sure made sure he didn't score a touchdown by throwing that pick.
The Browns are who they are at this point. So you got to get through week 8, 9, 10, and 11. You got to get through 4 more games, and you've only won 2 so far to just get to Deshaun Watson. And even I'm not foolish enough to expect Deshaun Watson to come in week 13 after the bye week in week 12 and pick up where he left off, averaging 285 passing yards a game, averaging 3 touchdown passes a game, being a top 5 quarterback at that time. I don't think he's going to be a top 5 quarterback when he immediately comes back. I think he's going to ascend into that. But by the time we get to that point, it's too late. This is what the NFL wanted. The NFL wanted, by the way, that's not why they lost yesterday. It's not an excuse. You could ring the bell because it sounds close to an excuse. I'm not making excuses. But the NFL wanted this. They wanted the Browns to pay and be punished for the Deshaun Watson saga from over the offseason and really into the start of it. They wanted them to pay. And they may not have an impact on them losing these games early on, but the NFL wanted to make sure that if they signed Deshaun Watson and he got suspended, that, it wasn't going to be a little 4-game suspension and then come back and then take him to the promised land, because I believe Deshaun Watson's good enough with this group, with this offensive line and everything. Maybe not take him to the Super Bowl, but definitely win this weak division right now, because I need to see a little bit more from the Bengals before I say that this is definitely their division. You know what I mean? Like, this division is weaker than we thought it was. It was actually way more vulnerable than I thought. And the Browns are missing an opportunity here to capitalize on it. And they're not. But the league wanted this. That's why they did the 11-game suspension. I've said before, if I'm the Cleveland Browns, I would have rather him be suspended for the whole year. Put him out of their misery. All right. Then that would have forced him to either go get Jimmy Garoppolo or to forced him to blow the roster up and just count this year as a toss-in year. You know what I mean? And then reevaluate for 2023. This was the worst thing for the Browns, and I don't expect anyone to feel sorry for him. I sure don't. I'm not condoning signing Deshaun Watson for all the stuff he did off the field, but at the end of the day, they have their quarterback, and it is what it is at this point. But Cleveland losing yesterday, Kev, the crazy thing about it, they played well. I thought I thought that Jacoby Brissett played well. He didn't make that big mistake. They capitalized on some big opportunities, big shots down the field. Him and Amari Cooper connected on a few, of that one that they called the pass interference. I mean, you see that on every play. I thought that was a bogus call. There's bogus calls in every game. It just stinks when it's that drive that you're coming from behind and you're trying to. It's a kick to the gut. But the Cleveland Browns, they didn't jump off. So there was no offsides. There was no false start on the kick. But to be fair, I'm not confident that was a for sure thing. I'm not confident that he was for sure going to make that in Cade York. I mean, I watched it in person. Him missed that same kick against the Chargers a few weeks ago. So, no, the refs didn't cost him the game, but the refs definitely were going to make sure that Cleveland didn't have an opportunity. I mean, my goodness, Cleveland, you're not going to get any favorable calls, especially on the road, and that's what happened. But Cleveland, they played I thought defensively they played well. I thought that Lamar would run all over him. But Cleveland traditionally has always played Lamar pretty well. Lamar has never really torched the Browns. That's the thing that's interesting about Cleveland, Kev. In this new AFC North era, the Bengals and the Ravens are the face of this new AFC North era. But the thing that's so frustrating for me as a Browns fan, Joe Burrow has never hurt this team, and Lamar's never hurt this team.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the Ravens have beat the Browns, don't get me wrong, but like Lamar has never overwhelmed the Cleveland Browns. Like, that's the thing that's frustrating. And yesterday, Lamar was not overwhelming. Why do I keep calling him Deshaun? Jacoby Brissett outplayed Lamar yesterday. As far as the quarterback position is concerned, Nick Chubb, Kevin Stefanski, I'm not really sure why, I can see why people are getting uneasy with his play calling. But why not? They're not feeding the rock to him. You saw in that fourth quarter, they just ran the ball down the Ravens' throat. Why were they not doing that more like we saw in the opening drives, more of that in between? But bottom line is, I think the Cleveland Browns season is over. The only thing I have left is to make sure that Joe Burrow remains winless against my Cleveland Browns, and that starts next Monday night in Cleveland. But your thoughts on watching that game, and I hope Shayla's recovered from the brutal loss that the Browns faced at the hands of the Ravens yesterday.
She hasn't, and neither has our TV.
Wow.
I got questions. I got questions for you. If you could replace any coach on the coaching staff for the Cleveland Browns, which coach would it be?
Joe Woods, but again, replacing him now does nothing. Like, I'm not a big fire guy midseason. Like, I don't think because, I mean, you're going to bring in a whole new scheme. You can't really do that. You're going to bring
Right.
someone else in. So right now, firing anyone just makes absolutely zero sense. What I've always wanted, especially for a team like Cleveland that needs that personality, that toughness. I love Rex Ryan. I would do anything. I thought the Bengals, who have a very good defensive coordinator now, and their defense is fine. We don't need to touch it. I think the Browns need a tough guy like that. I think Rex Ryan would be perfect defensive coordinator. The problem is he can't put his ego aside to be a coordinator anymore. He wants to be the guy. And who knows? Give it time. He might take over as the head coach of the Cleveland. But I would love Rex as a defensive coordinator for the Cleveland Browns. I think they need someone like that. I think they had that before. Which is why I wasn't a fan of when they gave him the interim job back before they went to Freddie Kitchens. But no, they need help. They need big time help. They need someone to come in and just refocus on that defense. Someone said, and we have weapons all over. I'm like, outside of Denzel Ward and Myles Garrett, I don't really know who these weapons are that everyone's talking about, because Delpit and these guys have just plummeted.
Their names.
Their names. There's names that I latched onto without seeing anything of pure substance anyways. We became so enamored with blaming Baker Mayfield for all of our organization's problems over the last couple of years that we weren't paying attention to the deficiencies on the defensive side of the ball either. I've been complaining about the defense for the last couple of seasons to begin with anyways. That's why I said defensively, the Browns check off all the boxes, right? Statistically, they checked off all the boxes defensively. But all you have to do is watch them and know that, no, they are soft as can be. I'm not a fan of the Browns defense. That's my major concern right there, more so than the offense.
I will be looking at special teams because they're not so special. The simple fact, remove the offsides or false start or whatever, remove that. They decided to move up the snap, the placement of the ball for the kick. Normally it's 8 yards behind the snap. They moved it up to 7 yards. I never knew you could do that until yesterday, until I was reading this article about it. So they decided to move it up to give him a better chance of making said kick. But immediately my thought was, well, doesn't that give the other team, a better chance of blocking the kick? And that's what happened. The kick was blocked. At first, I just thought he just totally shanked it, but a Ravens player blocked it or whatever, nipped the ball and it went left or whatever. And then I'm looking at the fact that they got Donovan Peoples-Jones back there returning punts. Shaw can answer this. I don't remember Donovan Peoples-Jones returning punts at Michigan. Like, I'm sure maybe he did, maybe he didn't, but he's not a punt returner. I'm not sure there's too many 6'3" punt returners out there. You know, normally punt returners are quick, shifty guys, things of that nature. So it's a lot of things that's going on the special teams. Oh, he did? Okay. And then obviously DuVernay for the Ravens had that 40-plus yard punt return to set up a scoring drive for the Baltimore Ravens. You look on the stat sheet, the Browns dominated. You look to get the game, the Browns dominated. But the special teams, those quote-unquote hidden yardage, that's where the Ravens got them. And I don't think it's any mystery that Jim Harbaugh, being a former special teams coach, they have the best special teams in the NFL. And that's why I look at him crazy when he goes for it all the time. When you have not only the best kicker in the league, you got a very good return man. You have good kickoff coverage. Like, you have the hidden yardage in the bag because he puts such a strong emphasis on that. So if I'm a Baltimore Ravens fan, I'm kicking more because I know I have these things in the bag. Special teams is one of the biggest things that we overlook as fans, but it always comes up biting you in the end. How many of these games come down to a field goal kick? It's special teams matter too. And I think that fans need to realize that a lot more. And you're right. The defense on paper and on name alone, they should be making plays, but they just don't. JOK made the play. He made the play in the fourth quarter to cause the fumble, to get the Browns the ball back. I think that's probably like the first time I've seen a Browns player make a play all season. He caused the fumble to get it back. They go down and score the go-ahead touchdown on Cooper, which was called back. And this is just a small rant on me. Have we seen enough of Marcus Peters in the NFL? Like, are we done here with him? Like, he's not a good football player. He's Patrick Beverly of the NFL. Like, he's not the player. Yeah, he's not the player that he was when he was the Chiefs. He dang showing the player that he was when he was with the Rams. He's not that guy anymore. He's getting picked on. And to be perfectly honest, whenever they play man-to-man coverage, he's the mark. You know, they don't throw at Marlon Humphrey when they're in man-to-man coverage. They throw at him. And he's the reason why they play so much zone defense now, because he can't cover. So he's garbage. He needs to go somewhere. They need to find a replacement for him if I'm a Baltimore Ravens fan. And if I'm anybody else out there, I'm going after him. And guess what? When they play the Bengals again, and if he's still out there on the field, and if the Cincinnati Bengals can protect, he's going to get ate alive. Because guess what? He's got to guard somebody. He's got to guard T, or he's got to guard Jamar, or he's got to guard Boyd. He's going to have to man up with somebody, and he's the mark out there. So Baltimore Ravens, y'all in trouble. Because if the Cincinnati Bengals are looking anything like they did yesterday or the last 2 weeks, they might run away with the AFC North.
Well, and that's why, you know, and look, the Baltimore Ravens, they're like the 6th worst pass defense in the NFL, which is why I also didn't, you know, when the Bengals fans a few weeks ago were like, oh, we almost beat the Ravens. I don't care that you almost beat the Ravens. Your God disguised as a quarterback, Joe Burrow, did not capitalize on facing the 6th worst pass defense. Yesterday, he capitalized on facing the worst pass defense of the NFL, and we saw what happened there. But there's missed opportunities galore. I can't believe we're heading into week 8. We're heading into week 8. Like, this is the halfway point. We just wrapped up high school football season. Ohio State's already out of their bye week already. Like, they won the trap game coming out of the bye. I mean, my goodness. But no, Cleveland, their season's done, right? Like, I'm afraid to commit to it because I don't want it to be, but like, it's done, right? And like, what makes it even worse is you can't even start focusing on this. We're used to looking at the draft. They don't have any draft picks,
right?
Yet. That's where coming up later on in the hour, we'll get into, you know, the Kareem Hunt and some of the names I'm hearing that the Browns are looking to shop away. The Jets, with the loss of their rookie running back, we'll talk about what that means for them. Maybe the Browns should try to use Kareem Hunt as leverage and take advantage of that situation. Because if the Jets were bad and they lose the guy, okay, fine, one thing, but they're in the playoff hunt. So they're wanting to remain in the playoff hunt. I could see Kareem Hunt as a rental going to the Jets. We'll talk about that around the corner. All right, 518-1410. Talked Bengals. We've talked Browns. Let's hear from some of the people on hold. Kev, who we have first?
Brian and Salina, line 1.
Salina. Oh, Brian. Brian, how are you, sir? Welcome.
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good.
Hey, thank you for the beer this past weekend. By the way, we get to Submarine House, Tim Williams and I, and she comes up. The waitress comes up and says, "Hey, one of your listeners called in and left you $20 to have some beverages." And I have some beverages. I had some beverages that day, so I appreciate that.
Hey, absolutely. And how did I know that you guys will spend it on beer? How did I know that?
To be fair, she said it was for drinks only. And I said, all right, you twisted my arm.
Of course.
But thank you, my friend.
Hey, no problem. I appreciate it. What a great time of year, though. Like, you guys talking, I have a chance to listen. High school football going to the playoffs. Ohio State Buckeyes really getting in the thick of things. The Cincinnati Bengals finally starting to look really good. And, not popular take here, but baseball's about ready to end, so I'm excited for that.
So you're excited for it to end, right?
Awesome. Yeah. If baseball just didn't exist, I don't think my life would change at all. That it's just not my cup of tea. But, no, I was really excited to see the Bengals yesterday. They're finally getting more balanced on offense instead of trying to force feeding Jamar Chase all the time. I'd like to see the run game involved a little bit more. But we knew what we had to do to attack that, the weak secondary, and that's what we did. Having Boyd just go off like that was really promising looking forward. So I'm excited to see how that's going to go.
So they win yesterday because the pass game. I'm not going to be negative here, but again, when you think about facing better teams, they've still yet to get a 100-yard performance from Joe Mixon this season. Right. And they're going to overwhelm teams with the pass game, but it reminds me of we talk, Big 12 football where it's all about the offense, but in the past games, but if that run game is not established by the time they get to the postseason, and I think that's where, I think this division is theirs. I'm not sold on the Ravens. The Browns, I think, are done, and there's Kev's Steelers at the bottom hanging out with us, the Browns fans. I just, no matter how good they look in the regular season, no matter if they win this division or not, I can't see them making a run without having a run game to rely on, especially as the temperature's starting to drop. I remember last year just how important Joe Mixon was throughout that playoff run at times when the pass game was not clicking on all cylinders against teams like the Raiders and others. So I'm very interested to see. Maybe they're not going. I keep hearing Bengals fans, Brian, say, well, they're not going to the run. They're not going to the run. Maybe that's actually smart of Zach Taylor. We're saying Zach Taylor's stupid for not going to the run. Maybe it's smart of him because he sees it in practice all week. There's not a run game to go to, and maybe that's the problem.
I don't know if it's not a run game to go to. Joe Mixon, he is a bell cow. Now, is he the Joe Mixon of last year and the year before? Probably not. But whenever you start getting those cold weather games, somebody that doesn't turn the football over, somebody that's going to get you 2 to 3 yards a carry. That's what he did in the playoffs that really helped us out. So, kind of when we talked to the Falcons with the Falcons game yesterday, we knew we could pick on that secondary, so we did. And it's kind of like when you look at the Alabamas and Alabama especially, but Ohio State, when they play that, that Division I AA team at the beginning of the year, let's get yourself right with some of those teams. So, their offensive passing game really got ourselves right there. When we need it, now we can have it. So when the run game isn't going, we're now in sync with our passing game. And, we're trying to use the Falcons to kind of polish that up. And then as the cold weather comes at us, we have that bell cow that we know we can get 2 to 3 yards. So the run game is not where we want it to be, but look out for Joe Mixon in the next couple weeks. I think you're going to see him really come alive.
Not next Monday, though, Brian. Not next Monday.
You might eat your words here.
Nope, so, Brian. Nope, not at all. In fact, you sent me $20. I'll send you $25 back. I don't want your beer money if you're going to be calling in with this garbage of the Browns giving up 100 yards to Joe Mixon. No, and look, but if the Browns have bought into their season being done, next Monday night could be very scary. Actually, Halloween.
It is
no
Halloween.
Pun intended.
Absolutely.
But, we'll see. I might be a Cowboys fan for Halloween next Monday. I don't know. So.
I don't think that's any better, but that's your choice.
No, it is better right now. But Brian, I appreciate you, man, and thanks for the beer money this past weekend.
No problem. Bye.
518-1410. That's the number to call and jump in on the conversation. Yes, like so much talk about the pass game, but I'm telling you that run game. I still see Bengals fans annoyed with like blaming Zach Taylor for the lack of a run game. Sometimes you don't have a run game.
Right.
I think it's weird that they had it last year. Joe Mixon was a top 5 running back last year, and now 7 weeks in, he hasn't even rushed for over 100 yards in the game. They're finding ways. He's making some plays here and there, but has he regressed? Is it him regressing or is it the play calling? I think it's him regressing. I don't think Zach Taylor's as bad a play caller as what people are making him out to be. And I laugh after yesterday. Oh, Zach Taylor, he finally made all the right play calls. You mean the play calls were executed? That's really what it comes down to. I mean, Stefanski, same thing. Stefanski's a horrible play caller, but then when they actually execute the plays, great play call. That's how it always goes.
You like that tight end sweep?
I like anything that works at this point. 518-1410. No, I did not like that. I mean, my goodness, the Ravens are trying everything. Never. Why are you snapping the ball to your tight end? Don't you have a quarterback that's asking for $50 million a year? Why are you doing that? Just saying.
Trick play.
You ain't doing that. Handing out you're doing that for Kelsey.
They do that with Kelsey.
Name a play.
Kelsey's throwing touchdown passes.
Okay, yes, but like they don't do it as often as what the Ravens do. They constantly have these packages. You have Lamar Jackson, a quarterback, wanted $50 million a year, and he passes the ball how many times in that game yesterday? Oofa. That guy, and Lamar is not worth $50 million a year. I'm telling you.
You are the roller coaster machine.
The more I watch the Ravens, I'm just laughing. I think it's more comical that guy is asking for that much money. Holy moly. Believe in yourself. But my goodness, there's that. I mean, I should go to my bosses and say, I want a 4% raise or something. And see. 518-1410. Kev, who we got?
We got Chris, line 3.
All right, let's go to, you said 3?
Yes.
Chris, how are you, sir? Welcome.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey.
Chris,
hey,
are you a Browns fan,
Kev,
Bengals fan? What's your story?
I'm a saddened Browns fan.
Oh, I can hear it in your voice. I could just tell. I could hear it.
Hey, Kev, Mike Prefer is the special teams head coach, and he should have been gone after last year. Special teams have been terrible. Browns need to fix that defense. Someone named Mike Zimmer. Bring him in. Get rid of Joe Woods. Hey, but I kind of wanted to touch up on what you guys were saying there with the whole Watson thing, which I know he's not going to cover up all the problems, but look what Burrow did. I mean, a good quarterback, a good top 5 quarterback is going to cover up a lot of problems because they're going to put up a lot of points. But this year, as you've seen, as Justin said, there was no false start. They are not going to let the Browns have any kind of attention, especially with Watson coming back. It just was not going to happen. I think if you put Andrew Berry and Jimmy Haslam in a room and took off all the cameras and no recordings, they would tell you, hey, this season might not go as we planned. Our quarterback's not going to be there for 11 weeks, but this is more long-term. This is about the next 10 years. And as Browns fans, we like to say that, right? It's always next year. Mm-hmm. But I do agree with Justin. I do think that, the season's probably over. I do think they're going to beat Cincinnati on Monday with them missing Reader and Wilson. I think Chubb's going to run all over him like he always does. But I do think the season's over. But all we can hope is Watson comes in and looks like the Watson of old.
No, and by the way, when I see all the deficiencies on this Browns team, and you being a Browns fan, I'm not saying Stefanski is a top 5 coach in the NFL, maybe not top 10, but my goodness, like the hate that goes towards him for his decisions during a game. Where are you with that? I'm not saying I agree with everything he does, but I don't think there's a coach out there where I'm sitting there saying, oh man, that guy just never makes a mistake. Is Stefanski bad in your eyes? Like, I don't know what my vibe of him is, because I would like to see Stefanski with Watson before I make a true, you know what I mean? Like going one way or another as far as who he is as a head coach. I just need to see him with Watson first before I can truly stamp my approval or disapproval for him, if that makes sense.
You have to. So the word is when we got Watson, that Stefanski and him sat in a room for an hour or two and was going over plays. And, you know, obviously the 250 guaranteed million is the biggest reason he came. But apparently he loved sitting there. He liked how Stefanski drew up, you know, how he got receivers open. He loved the run game. Nick Chubb is seeing the most loaded boxes of any running back in the league right now, and he still leads the league in rushing. You can't do that when Watson gets back. What, are you going to load the box on Deshaun Watson and give him the chance to run outside or give him one-on-one throws? You can't. Not only that, Stefanski was coach of the year his first year. He did that with Baker Mayfield. Look at Baker Mayfield now. He actually made us believe that Baker Mayfield was a good quarterback.
You have a lot of Bengals fans saying not us, but yes, I'm with you. They fooled me. He fooled me. So maybe I should be mad at Stefanski. But
he got 11 wins. He got 11 wins with Baker Mayfield, and he won a playoff game with Baker Mayfield in Pittsburgh. I know it was COVID year. I know there wasn't any fans, but he still got a playoff win after 20 years? Or probably, I think, longer. And not only that, so then you go from Baker, now you go to a backup quarterback in Jacoby Brissett. You haven't even seen what this guy has yet. You don't even know what this offense really looks like until Watson comes back.
Yeah, I think there's guys like DPJ, like everyone's
like
saying,
that got to go.
Like DPJ and some of these guys this season. Like, are they clicking with Jacoby Brissett? No, but I think Deshaun could bring out Jacoby Brissett, and if not, then that's just who DPJ is, and then that's on the Browns. But I'm with you. I just, like I said, I don't have a hard opinion on Stefanski one way or another until he has his quarterback. If this team was 2-5 with Deshaun Watson, I would be just destroying this team every day on this show. You and all other Browns fans would hate me so much, but they're 2-5 with the backup quarterback, and they weren't even a playoff team last year. So I'm just kind of sitting back and just waiting to see what's going on. But Deshaun Watson, to your point, he's not going to come back and fix the defensive issues, but he can kind of mask those a little bit. Saw what great quarterback Joe Burrow comes into Cincinnati. It's not like they had no holes. It's just that he kind of masks them a lot. And I think that's what Watson's going to have to do too when he gets to Cleveland. We'll see.
And last thing, Justin, if you don't mind.
No, you're good.
Four losses by a combined 9 points. Deshaun Watson wins you a couple of those games. I'm just saying.
No, absolutely. And, you know, that Patriots loss is all on clip. My only thing with Stefanski that I got on him about, they quit on him in that game. They quit on them. The second that call was overturned and that didn't go in their favor, they quit. And that's the problem I had with Stefanski that day. But outside of that, they're in every game. The Bengals fans use that card all the time. We could easily be 7-0 and, you know, and all that stuff. Well, the Browns could easily be 6-1 right now, but they're not. So it is what it is.
Absolutely. Hey, thanks, guys.
Appreciate the comment. Thank you. 518-1410. Kev, who's up?
Doug, line 2.
What up, Doug? How are you, sir? Close us out here.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Is this cool, Doug?
Yeah. Hey, I'm trying to give you a little optimism.
All right, I need some optimism. I like this. It's optimistic, Doug.
You got to look at the glass half full instead of half empty.
My glasses were rarely full at all this past weekend. They made me drink a lot.
Justin, all the Brown fans, if you beat Cincinnati Monday, you one game out of first place, so how you gave up on the year? One game back. At the midway point, you would be one game out of first place.
You're right. I haven't thought about
it. So that's hard to believe.
Look at this man's face.
Giving up on the season like that.
You know what? Keep going. I like how you're talking. You keep going.
Every team can go back and say they should have won this or should have won that. I understand that. But the game against the Jets is the game that's going to cost you if it ends up costing. All the rest of the games could have went either way, and a lot of teams can say that. But you gave the game against the Jets away. You just gave that away. The other ones were just, some teams win, some teams lose, a good break and a bad break. But the way the league is right now, I don't know how you feel like you're out of it. Because it looks like you can play with any team in the league with Jacoby Brissett. I mean, you've been close in every game but one. Possibly should have won all of them. Could have lost all of them. It's not as bad as the sky is falling. Beat the Bengals, and you right there. And help is on the way.
You know
and
what?
You don't know. I don't know who Baltimore plays next week, but if they lose, you one game out of first place.
They play Thursday night. They got the Bucks on Thursday.
The Bucks is horrible, but you never know.
So I think the Ravens aren't too far off from that either right now. But you know what? You are right, Cool Doug. Optimistic Doug. Badass Doug. I like Doug. Doug knows what he's talking about. You're right. We beat the Bengals on Monday, and we're a game out of first place. It's that simple.
Hey, would you have settled for that with this backup quarterback being one game out of first place?
You're damn right I would.
Games?
Yeah, halfway point, one game out of first place. Deshaun coming back in, but good for you. You did talk me off the ledge. I like this.
Now I got something else that you might like.
All right, keep it coming. Keep it coming.
Now, I've been listening, and what you're saying is right. And I hear so many fans of teams, and they don't want to look at their team for what it is and criticize. I watched the Buckeye game the other day, and they played real bad. The score would never tell you that they played a bad game. Iowa just did everything in their will to, and maybe the Buckeyes cost it, but they gave Ohio State the ball like 5 times on their own 30, and Ohio State was getting 1 or 2 yards in their possession. And for an offense like Ohio State, you have to say that was bad football for the Buckeyes. You have to expect more out of that offense. And Iowa was just killing them. And Ohio State looked real bad. They had 28 yards rushing and like 80 or 90 yards passing in the first half. And that's been a quarter for them in the previous 3 or 4 games.
Yeah.
So, and it ain't that there ain't no good. I'm not saying that, but that wasn't a good performance. And you should at least see that. You can't always see the game like, oh, well, we won by 44. Like I heard a caller say, well, they beat them better than Michigan did. Michigan played a better game against them than Ohio State did. You know, in my opinion, just looking at what Ohio State got and what Michigan got, Ohio State didn't play a good game yesterday.
No, hey, Cool Doug, we got to hit this, these paid advertisements we got to get to. But, hey, tell everyone one more time. What happens when we beat the Bengals on Monday?
You'll be one game out of first place.
One game out of first
I'm
place.
glad I made your day today because I know I did.
Yes, you did. You did. Appreciate you.
Y'all take it easy.
Hear that? What? I didn't think, we win on Monday. We're one game out. I like Doug.
Next 3 games for the Browns. Bengals, at Dolphins, at Buffalo. What's their record in the next 3?
2-1. We ain't beat Buffalo.
2-1.
That's a real team. And you know how Cool Doug, I know Cool Doug is right? Is because if he says something like that, people just laugh it off and move on. But the second he said that, you know what? Fear went up and down the spines of all the Bengals fans right away. Jonathan Jeffries. I've never heard of Jonathan Jeffries. He's never chimed in on the show before. But right away, Browns fans, if, then we're still a game behind. Mocking Browns fans. Why are you jumping in now? Why did that trigger you, Mr. Jeffries? Why did that trigger you? Why you worried?
Same reason it made you happy.
Because you upset because you know it's possible. It could happen. It might happen. In fact, Joe Burrow, I know he's God and everything. He's never beat the Browns. He can't beat the Browns. Joe Burrow's great as he is. Beat Patrick Mahomes. Beats up on the Ravens. Not the Steelers. He did lose to the Steelers. And he lost to the Ravens this year, too. Man, Joe Burrow, he's pretty average. He's a 500 quarterback, if you really think about it. Remember what's that saying? You are what your record says you are? Just saying. The Bengals are a game over 500. And next Monday, the Browns will be a game out of first place with Deshaun Watson coming in. And then look already, the Deshaun stuff. People already getting mad. Johnny Ortez says he's hardly done enough to warrant this elite status that y'all glamour over. If you actually look at Joe Burrow's numbers and Deshaun Watson's numbers, Deshaun's numbers are better, the same amount of games into his career. That's not a shot at Joe Burrow, but if you're going to sit here and ruin my show with your Joe Burrow is great talks and try to continue this Deshaun Watson is not. Hey, if we're trying to win a human being contest, clearly Joe Burrow wins that. I mean, like, he collects cans for the needy and stuff, so clearly he's better than Deshaun Watson. I'm just saying, but don't do that. Oh, but the Joe Burrow's been to a Super Bowl. The Bengals went to a Super Bowl. The Bengals went to a Super Bowl. The Texans did not. The Bengals went to a Super Bowl. Joe Burrow took him there. The kicker got him there. 40 points throughout the playoff run last year. The defense. We'll be right back. It's the Justin Kinder Show with Kev Nash here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Hi, I'm Coach Jim Place, and I'm proud to support Tony Shane for Montgomery County Common Pleas Court Judge. I've known Tony and his wife Annie for a long time. Something that makes Tony and the great Annie so special is they are a team. They truly care about the citizens of Montgomery County. They were born here, they're raising their family here, and the citizens of Montgomery County are something they care very deeply about. That's why on November 8th, I'm voting for Tony Shane for Montgomery County Common Pleas Court Judge.
Paid for by citizens to elect Shane.
Do you enjoy sports betting and fantasy sports? If so, it's important to know that gambling's not a way to pay bills or earn income. Learn how to set limits and recognize the warning signs for problem gambling by visiting beforeyoubet.org. You can also assess your risk by taking the responsible gambling quiz. Beforeyoubet.org provides free resources to help keep gambling safe and fun for Ohioans. Be a fan with a plan this season and go to beforeyoubet.org to learn more.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to get conversational in another language in as little as 3 weeks? Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas?
Babbel, language for life, celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hi, this is Eddie Sorrell, Service Manager at Germain Honda of Beaver Creek, recipient of Honda's President's Award. When your vehicle needs service, we make it convenient. Open 6 days a week, including all day Saturday. We also welcome same-day appointments and walk-ins as well. Our technicians are factory trained, and we offer a new state-of-the-art facility, clean waiting rooms, loaner cars, and free alignment checks as well. Ask for the $99.95 alignment special. Germain Honda of Beaver Creek, Route 35, just east of 675 between Xenia and Beaver Creek.
Did you know that 3 Ohioans are diagnosed with oral cancer every day? Dentists are doctors of dental surgery and can recognize life-threatening conditions and treat oral diseases before they become serious health complications. Ohio Dental Association member dentists are located throughout the state and are dedicated to providing the highest quality dental care. Ask if your dentist is a member of the Ohio Dental Association and American Dental Association, so you know you're being treated by the best. To find an ODA dentist in your area, visit associationsadvanceohio.com.
The best audio entertainment this fall is on Audible. It's the home of storytelling with audiobooks, exclusive originals, popular podcasts, and more. All in one app. Sign up for a free 30-day trial at audible.com.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
The mid-afternoon and early evening will be partly cloudy, a high near 80. Tonight's going to be partly cloudy, a low near 55. And tomorrow will be partly cloudy, a high near 80. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Weather is brought to you by Cullet Propane. 98% of their customers recommend Cullet. If you wouldn't recommend your current supplier, check them out at culletpropane.com.
Jamie's log. Progressive. The Harrington's backyard. Day 27, 3:33 a.m. 333. All those threes mean something. Or I may be losing it. Been camped in the Harrington's backyard for 27 days now, proving that Progressive has 24/7 protection. They told me every day they understand what 24/7 protection means. Think I'm finally getting through to them. 333.
Progressive doesn't just offer a great price when you bundle home and auto. We offer round-the-clock protection, just not literally from Jamie. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers, and subject to policy terms. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
You can't always see bad weather coming, so it's essential that you're able to see through it when you drive. Michelin wiper blades with advanced technology hug your windshield like a Michelin tire hugs the road, channeling away water, snow, and ice so you can see clearly, drive confidently, and breathe easy. Michelin wiper performance, clearer than ever. Upgrade to Michelin premium wipers today at Walmart, Amazon, Tire Kingdom, and other fine retailers.
Don't put it off any longer. You know it's time. Time for a bathroom upgrade by Bath Creations. Bath Creations is a leader in bathroom renovations, providing the very best value in bath and shower remodeling, and proudly made in the USA. With Bath Creations, you get a beautiful modern bathroom that's safe, comfortable, and affordable. Attention first responders, veterans, and active military. Save $500 off your purchase right now. Visit Poe Avenue in Dayton or online at mybathcreations.com. And upgrade today.
Do you have an old sports program, baseball, photo, ticket, or game-used equipment just collecting dust? Sports Investments wants to buy your sports memorabilia. They're also interested in old sports cards and also buying political, aviation, and entertainment items. Bring your collectibles to Sports Investments and get a fair value on the spot. If you decide to sell, they'll pay you immediately. Sports Investments is the largest buyer of memorabilia and cards in the area since 1993. Sports Investments also feature the best selection of autographed memorabilia, sports cards, and other collectible items for sale, including all your favorites like Tiger Woods, LeBron James, Joey Votto, the Bengals, the Browns, the Big Red Machine, UC, XU, UK, NKU, UD, Louisville, Notre Dame, and Ohio State, just to name a few. You'll enjoy the experience of dealing with the Walter family. Call them at 513-891-5000. Email adam@sportsinvestments.com or visit them on Montgomery Road, right off I-275, just 40 minutes from WING.
Buckeye football season is back. That means tailgating and parties for the big game. You need the Lee's famous recipe Buckeye Bucket. It comes with 25 pieces of the delicious jumbo breast strips for only $44.99. Of course, you can add a few of their famous country side items, buttermilk biscuits, gallons of fresh brewed Lee's iced tea, or lemonade. You have the perfect recipe for a tailgate or watch party. Cheer on the Buckeyes this weekend with a Buckeye Bucket. Order today.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places what you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week, there's something new. If you need office furniture, Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer's selected prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really, desks from $50 to $5,000. Filing cabinets from $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. With 25,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Larrick's Warehouse Outlet at 23 McOil Avenue, Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Larrick's, continuing the tradition.
Germain Honda Beaver Creek is your local Honda dealer. If you've been waiting to buy, now is the time. For a limited time, we have 22 Honda Passports and 22 Honda Pilots with financing as low as 1.9% and 2022 Honda Ridgelines with financing as low as 2.9%. Remember, we can get the Honda you're looking for. We are taking deposits on current scheduled in-build new Hondas every day. See me, Sales Manager Jason High, for all the details. We're on Route 35 just east of 675 between Xenia and Beaver Creek. Germain Honda Beaver Creek, the right car, the right price, the right way.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers. Excellent pay, benefits, and a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Apply today. Online at CordellTransportation.com. Driven to succeed.
You've got advanced prostate cancer, but you're not waiting around. You want straight talk, the facts about Orgovix.
Orgovix Relagolix 120 milligram prescription tablets is a treatment for adults with advanced prostate cancer. Fact: Orgovix is a different kind of androgen deprivation therapy treatment, a pill, not an injection. Orgovix may cause serious side effects, including a heart condition called QT prolongation. Tell your doctor right away if you feel dizzy, faint, have a racing or pounding heart, or chest pain. Orgovyx can cause harm to an unborn baby or miscarriage. Use birth control during treatment and for 2 weeks after Orgovyx treatment. The most common side effects include hot flushes, increased blood sugar and blood fat levels, muscle and joint pain, decreased blood hemoglobin levels, increased liver enzymes, tiredness, constipation, and diarrhea. Other side effects include weight gain, decreased sex drive, and erectile function problems. Orgovyx may cause infertility. Talk to your doctor if infertility is a concern for you.
Go with Orgovyx. Ask your doctor. For more facts, visit gowiththefacts.com.
The best audio entertainment this fall is on Audible. It's the home of storytelling with audiobooks, exclusive originals, popular podcasts, and more. All in one app. Sign up for a free 30-day trial at audible.com.
Many Vietnam War veterans were unknowingly exposed to dangerous chemicals impacting their health and quality of life. There are now expanded benefits for veterans exposed to Agent Orange. Veterans with Parkinsonism, bladder cancer, or hypothyroidism who previously applied for VA disability compensation but were denied should reapply and might be eligible for retroactive compensation. Exposed veterans who have not yet applied should consider filing a new claim. For assistance, call Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission at 937-225-4801.
Everyday values are at only one place, Frickers. Monday, boneless frickin' chicken wings. Tuesday, traditional frickin' chicken wings. Wednesday is all about that steak. Thursday, frickin' chicken chunks. Frickers, where kids 10 and under eat free every day. Remember draft beer specials, everyday values, and kids eat free every day. The home for money-saving value is the home for fun, food, sports, and spirits, Frickers.
Update the lighting in your home and save 11% on everything now at Menards. Ultra-thin Juno LED downlights are a time-saving solution for new recessed lighting. They're easy to install anywhere without the need for recessed housing. Add bright, energy-efficient indoor or outdoor lighting to your home. Get 11% off all recessed lighting now at Menards. Good through October 30th. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Hi, this is Eddie Sorrell, Body Shop Manager at Germain Honda of Beaver Creek. Our technicians have over 125 years of total experience. That means we can repair your vehicle correctly and efficiently. So when you need a dependable body shop, we're here. And we repair all makes and models with new state-of-the-art equipment to get you back on the road quickly. Plus, we offer loaner cars during service and free estimates. Stop by and see us. Germain Honda of Beaver Creek, State Route 35, just east of 675 between Xenia and Beaver Creek.
Violent people lurking freely in your neighborhood. It's not a horror film. It's a horrible court decision creating a revolving door for accused violent criminals.
I'm Jason Pappas from the Ohio Fraternal Order of Police. The Ohio Supreme Court recently ruled that the safety of our families can never be considered when setting bail amounts. That's wrong. That's why 25,000 members of the Fraternal Order of Police endorsed Sharon Kennedy, Pat DeWine, and Pat Fisher. They spoke out for public safety.
I'm Justice Sharon Kennedy, and I spoke out because as a former police officer, I know communities need protection.
I'm Justice Pat DeWine, and I spoke out because public safety must be part of the consideration when setting bail amounts.
I'm Justice Pat Fisher. I spoke out about this problem too. Judges have a solemn responsibility to keep our communities safe.
Vote for Republican Justices Sharon Kennedy, Pat DeWine, and Pat Fisher.
Paid for by the Ohio Republican Party.
Do you enjoy sports betting and fantasy sports? If so, it's important to know that gambling's not a way to pay bills or earn income. Learn how to set limits and recognize the warning signs for problem gambling by visiting beforeyoubet.org. You can also assess your risk by taking the responsible gambling quiz. Beforeyoubet.org provides free resources to help keep gambling safe and fun for Ohioans. Be a fan with a plan this season and go to beforeyoubet.org to learn more.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Did you know that 3 Ohioans are diagnosed with oral cancer every day? Dentists are doctors of dental surgery and can recognize life-threatening conditions and treat oral diseases before they become serious health complications. Ohio Dental Association member dentists are located throughout the state and are dedicated to providing the highest quality dental care. Ask if your dentist is a member of the Ohio Dental Association and American Dental Association, so you know you're being treated by the best. To find an ODA dentist in your area, visit associationsadvanceohio.com.
From the four corners of the globe, the world's greatest set their sights on one goal. The Breeders' Cup World Championships are coming to iconic Keeneland this November 4th and 5th. Over 2 days and 14 championship races, the pinnacle of international thoroughbred racing will put the most jaw-dropping, heart-pounding spectacle before your very eyes. Coverage begins Friday on USA and continues Saturday on USA and NBC. Visit breederscup.com/2022 to learn more.
At EasyCater, food for work is our thing. Maybe that's why we get orders from 93% of Fortune 500 companies. So what's up with the other 7%?
Food is late again.
You should have ordered through EasyCater. Professionally delivered right on time.
EasyCater, huh? Have a pen?
No, I don't have a pen. Does anyone have a pen?
Nah, I'll remember.
Why don't all companies order through EasyCater? Who knows? Order 24/7 from over 95,000 restaurants on EasyCater.com. EasyCater, food for work. That's our thing.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
If you need to hire, you need Indeed, because Indeed's all-in-one hiring solution helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all from one place. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Hey, Buckeye fans, as the official wing sponsor of your Ohio State Buckeyes, Roosters is giving away 12 trips for two to this year's Buckeye Bowl game. Each trip comes complete with airfare, hotel, gift bag, and 2 tickets to the big game. One bowl prize winner will be chosen each week, along with other cool Roosters weekly prizes. So register every week at roosterswings.com. Roosters, a fun casual joint and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Official contest rules at roosterswings.com.
When cold symptoms keep you up, try Vicks NyQuil Severe for max strength nighttime relief. Just 1 dose of Vicks NyQuil Severe starts to relieve 9 of your worst cold and flu symptoms to help take you from 9 to none. Get some rest and feel better with Vicks NyQuil Severe. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, sore throat, stuffy nose, fever, best sleep with a cold. Medicine. Use as directed.
We tried Dynovite nutritional supplement, and after a couple of weeks, we noticed a big difference. Our little Gizmo's coat was shinier, and there was a lot less scratching and shedding.
My dog smelled and scratched constantly. We bathed and sprayed her, took her to the vet, but no results. Now, a little Dynovite in her food helps Bella keep her beautiful coat with no scratching or smell.
Happier, healthier with every bite. Over 1 million pets helped with Dynovite.
Houday Nation, Betfred has come all the way from England to the great state of Ohio with over 50 years of sports betting experience. No emperors, no movie stars, just a sportsbook you can trust. The Betfred Sportsbook app will be available on January 1st, 2023. Until then, download the Bengals app or go to betfredsports.com and have a chance to win Bengals tickets and exclusive merchandise. Official sports betting partner of the Cincinnati Bengals. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Germain Honda Beaver Creek is your local Honda dealer. If you've been waiting to buy, now is the time. For a limited time, we have 22 Honda Passports and 22 Honda Pilots with financing as low as 1.9%, and 2022 Honda Ridgelines with financing as low as 2.9%. Remember, we can get the Honda you're looking for. We are taking deposits on current scheduled in-build new Hondas every day. See me, sales manager Jason High, for all the details. We're on Route 35, just east of 675 between Xenia and Beaver Creek. Germain Honda Beaver Creek, the right car, the right price, the right way.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who miss the fairway all day and still pull out the big stick, the type of guys who will always prefer to be behind the grill than in front of the camera.
and the men who never let their friends forget about a high school nickname. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Who wants to settle for a single TV? With more TVs, bigger screens, plus our fabulous scenic views, there's more to watch at Twin Peaks.
The best audio entertainment this fall is on Audible. It's the home of storytelling with audiobooks, exclusive originals, popular podcasts, and more. All in one app. Sign up for a free 30-day trial at audible.com.
There are many ways to catch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. You can catch it live right here on 1410 Wing AM, or you can stream the show at wingam.com. But now we have another way that you can take in the show. You can now watch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash live on ESPN Dayton's Facebook page. Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio. All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, and we are back. Sorry for the little bit of a longer delay there, but we got everything back and situated. I'm Justin Kinner, hanging out with you here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. All things reaction, of course, to the Browns' loss to the Ravens yesterday. The Bengals, just throttling the Falcons. Taking a lot of your calls. I've been reading your reaction, of course, on social media. Glad to be back with you here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. So before the break, a caller had called in Cool Doug. Doug had called in because I've been Mr. Negative today. And the Browns, I'm just down on my Browns. Look, the Browns have lost 5 straight. They're 2-5. I don't really have any homerism left in me. I don't have any. There's no excuses. I mean, this is just not a good football team. This is a team that wasn't in the playoffs last year. They came into the season with the backup quarterback. I mean, we came into the season talking about the Cleveland Browns having the worst of all the wide receiver units out there. The Browns have one of the worst wide receiver units out there. I think the Patriots were worse and the Giants were worst. So the Browns have one of the bottom 5, weaponry groups in football right now, and a backup quarterback, and a defense that has names on paper that, like, outside of, and look, Myles Garrett's legitimate, Denzel Ward's legitimate, but outside of those two, and I do like Orosi Koromoa, the rest, no, sorry. Grant Delpit. These guys like Greedy Williams. I saw the Browns are shopping Greedy Williams today. I mean, my goodness, you're shopping him. You might as well just give him away. I'm just tired of these guys. These guys can't stay healthy. They, the defense of the Browns is a mess. But the caller before the break called in and said that, look, got to slow down. The season's not over. We've seen so many weird things happen. The Bengals, who have this elite offense, they're only 4-3 on the season. They have proven to be an inconsistent train wreck at times. The Cleveland Browns, as he pointed out, the Browns win a week from tonight on Monday night, and the Cleveland Browns are a game out of first place. That's right. And we're just a few games away from getting Deshaun Watson back. And I think, and as I always have to do, Deshaun Watson is a scum person. Cool. We got that out of the way. We all on the same page on that? All right, cool. I have to beat you guys to the punch because you guys act as if that discredits anything that statistically he brings to the table. I am not condoning anything of who Deshaun Watson is. I'm just talking about who he is as a quarterback. So I talked about earlier, and someone said right away too, by the way, that Joe Burrow better than Deshaun Watson. I don't think that there's anything out there outside of team success that can thoroughly say that Joe Burrow is better than Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson is actually one of the youngest quarterbacks in the National Football League. He hasn't played in a year and a half. Okay, that's super. We've seen quarterbacks miss significant amounts of time due to injury. This dude has been out. He might be rusty because he's been out. This is not a guy that has been out due to injury. When you talk about guys being out due to injury, they're not able to train. They're not able to condition. You know what I mean? They're spending most of their time off rehabbing or just getting to the point where they could start conditioning. Deshaun Watson has not missed any time due to injury. the injury was what the rumored excuse was as to why he wasn't playing in Houston. But we all know it was the temper tantrum he was throwing behind the scenes because he wanted out of Houston. And then it backfired on him because in the middle of having that negotiation war with the front office over in Houston, that's when all the allegations came swarming in. But of course, right away, Johnny Ortez says, Burrow is better than Watson. And right away, people have to start coming in and trying to discredit who Watson is. Like Joe Burrow is a very good quarterback, but I don't think he's better than Deshaun. I'll take Deshaun over Burrow. When Deshaun gets back to who he is and who he was before a year and a half ago, I'll take Deshaun Watson over Joe Burrow. Deshaun Watson brings more to the table. Deshaun Watson cannot just make plays with his arms. He can make plays with his legs. He's more versatile. Yes, we've seen Burrow run. Called running for his life. There is a difference. And luckily, the Bengals have been buttoning that issue up a little bit. Someone brought up the fact that Brandon Kelty said that his numbers are not better. Burrow just tied Stafford for fewest games at 9,000 yards. So that's what makes it. So Matthew Stafford, are you saying that Matthew Stafford's better than Joe Burrow? I mean, he did just beat him head to head in the Super Bowl, I guess. Matthew Stafford better than Joe Burrow? See, this is the thing that you guys do. You try using these weird stats that actually don't really check off anything other than you thinking you're winning an argument, when really all you did was just say that Matthew Stafford. So Joe Burrow is Matthew Stafford. Now, Matthew Stafford just won a Super Bowl. Joe Burrow did not. Joe Burrow actually performed very poorly. Oh, but his offensive line was bad. He was sacked 70 times last year. Joe Burrow's offensive line was bad all year. Joe Burrow just stunk it up in the biggest game of the year. That's just really what it comes down to. Let's just be real. I'm not trying to have a bash on Joe Burrow segment here, but y'all are bringing it out in me. I'm trying to enjoy the fact that a Browns fan called in and said, hey, actually the season's not over. They win next Monday night. They're a game out of first place, and the Browns are still in this division race as they're getting healthier, getting guys back. They just got to weather the storm. The Dolphins, as we saw last night, although they did look sharper after getting Tua Tagovailoa back, they fell asleep in the second half and disappeared. The Steelers had an opportunity to come back and win that. If the Steelers can have a chance to beat the Dolphins in Miami, why can't Cleveland, who is a better overall rounded team than Pittsburgh? I'm just saying. Miami with a backup quarterback almost beat the Cincinnati Bengals, who you are telling me is just there's no chance that the Browns win. It's in Cleveland. Cleveland, outside of quitting against the Patriots, they have not been pushed around hardly at all this season. Their defense is not very good, but their offense, even with the backup quarterback, I mean, they have an identity as a run team. I think, and right now that's the weakness of the Bengals defense right now with no DJ Reader and company. I like the Browns' chances against the Bengals coming up a week from now. And for whatever reason, the Browns just seem to be that team that has the Bengals number. They have Joe Burrow's number. But Brandon Kelty, you want to talk about the numbers of Joe Burrow? Joe Burrow has, in 33 games, has 9,300 yards, 62 touchdowns, and 24 interceptions, and he's completed 68% of his passes. But there's no way that Deshaun Watson is better. Now, Deshaun Watson has thrown for 8,500 yards, okay, 1,000 less yards than Joe Burrow, but he also has 1,000 more rushing yards than Joe Burrow. So that's where those yards kind of go. And I would hope that he can have that many more, pass yards. Joe Burrow has thrown the ball 230 more times in 33 games than Deshaun Watson did. So I would hope that, yes, his numbers from a yardage standpoint, but like, that's the thing. Like, Joe Burrow is all about what happens when they can't afford to keep all his weapons around him, when it's just Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, and there is no T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, and you're having to rely on all these rookie wide receivers and young no-name guys. Like, what Josh Allen does in Buffalo is more impressive than what Joe Burrow does in Cincinnati. Josh Allen has Stephon Diggs and a bunch of young guys that they've had to mold and develop. That's why I'm a big fan of what Josh Allen does over there. You just saw right now, Patrick Mahomes, he lost Tyreek Hill. He lost his number one wide receiver. And it's as if he's never even left. It's as if he was never even made an impact to begin with. Patrick Mahomes is still the best quarterback in the National Football League, and that's after losing arguably the best receiver in football. I mean, that's something. Joe Burrow couldn't win games until they drafted a rookie wide receiver. Patrick Mahomes loses the best wide receiver in the league, and it's as if he's never left. There's a difference there. But yeah, don't tell me that Deshaun Watson is a nobody. That's through 33 games. They're nearly identical. And the thing that separates Joe Burrow or Deshaun Watson from Joe Burrow is the fact that Deshaun Watson can make plays with his legs. Now, Joe Burrow, it's not that as if he can't, but he's not as athletic. He's not as fast. He doesn't have the ability that Deshaun Watson does. Look, Deshaun Watson, better than Joe Burrow. When Deshaun Watson gets his legs back underneath him, he'll pick up where he left off, and he's going to have a deeper team in Cleveland than he did in Houston, and I'm all for it. I'm waiting for it. And I'm ready for him to get back because I'm tired of this watching the Cleveland Browns lose games that they shouldn't be losing. And once they get a real quarterback, I'm fine with how everything's going to unravel as far as that's concerned. 518-1410, 518-1410. That's the number to call and jump in on the conversation. Let's see. Jonathan Jeffries, Joe Burrow couldn't win games until he played his first full season. Okay. It wasn't about playing his first full season. It was about actually giving him guys that he can throw to. Because the funny thing about that is when guys don't have guys to throw to, they don't look as good. Look at Aaron Rodgers. Is Aaron Rodgers a bad quarterback this year? No. Joe Burrow, it's just Aaron Rodgers. It's just not as easy to be Aaron Rodgers when you don't have one of the top, Devontae Adams. You know what I mean? Like, you take Devontae Adams away from Aaron Rodgers, of course he is going to look, less skilled and less talented. Aaron Rodgers, you drop. That's the thing about Tom Brady too. You remember his last year with the New England Patriots? His last play ever as a New England Patriot was a pick 6 against the Tennessee Titans. And we were all saying that Tom Brady was washed up and that he's lost his step. No, it's that he didn't have good weapons in New England. So it started to look as if he was aging and regressing and all this stuff. Well, he was aging. He definitely wasn't regressing, because then all of a sudden he goes to Tampa. He has weapons in Godwin and Evans, and he has all these guys around him. And guess what? Now all of a sudden he looks like the Tom Brady of young. You put talent around these quarterbacks, it's amazing what they can do. And I'm always impressed with the quarterbacks who can win with less. And that's something that we have not seen Joe Burrow do. When you have to take weapons away from Joe Burrow because they won't be able to afford to pay them in the near future, then I'm curious to see who Joe Burrow is. Because you've told me you can't win unless you have him. Well, you can't have him and T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd and a strong run game. You can't have all of those pieces moving forward. So that's why they're going to pay Joe Burrow. They're going to pay, Jamar Chase, as they should. They just better not make the same mistake the Packers did and move on from Devontae Adams, because look at the impact that that's had. That hasn't been good. Aaron Rodgers, best quarterback in the NFL. Aaron Rodgers doesn't look like the best quarterback in the NFL because he has no one to throw to. 518-1410. Let's go to Packers fan Tim. Packers fan Tim is a good segue into you. How are you, sir?
Hey, pretty good. Hey, I'm not a Packers fan. I was always kidding you guys. I've always been a Joe Burrow fan.
Are you changing? Are you turning on me here? You showed up. I was going to say, don't do that. Those pictures. Yeah, I was going to say, you brought all your Packers fan pictures and everything to the show last week or 2 weeks ago.
I have empathy for a lot of teams now, fans, just because 3 straight games the Packers have lost. That's just insane. And they've lost to some teams that on paper think, hey, you're marking them off as wins. Now this week, they got to go play Sunday Night Football at Buffalo. They're playing the Bills at Buffalo. And I think, oh my gosh, this is one of they've lost games, but I've always felt when I get out all the stuff through the game, hey man, they're going to win. And even after, I enjoyed the game because it was close. Oh, this would have happened. This would have happened. We could have won. This is a game that of course I'm going to watch, but I'm thinking this is one that I just, and I'm a true homer, but I sure wouldn't bet a penny on this one. I don't know, no matter how many points, the Packers are getting. I think this is the first time since Rodgers started that the Packers have been double-digit dogs going in, with that spread. But, what I wanted to talk about, though, was just how impressed I was with the Bengals receivers and Burrow. NFL Plus, I can watch the game, everything, replay, slow motion, get coaches' views and stuff after the thing, and I like doing that. And so I said, okay, I'm gonna watch the Bengals and the Browns. And then I got so enthralled with that Bengals game. Those receivers are such great route runners. All 3 of them, they were so impressive. And I thought, man, I think Burrow's great anyways. I think very highly of Burrow, but he does have some great receivers. And I just thought, wow, I think the Bengals are really going to, I know it's the Falcons, but that's a big time NFL team. Meaning, it's an NFL team with some big time players. And I just was really impressed with Burrow and those receivers, man.
And by the way, I'm discrediting it. Well, not discrediting it, no matter how I try to phrase it. But look, that's where people are going to come in like me. That was the worst pass defense in the National Football League. And not just yesterday, but like statistically, they've given up more yards than anyone else in the NFL. That doesn't mean, though, right. as a listener said earlier, though, it's not as if every quarterback is doing that against them, but collectively they are giving up a lot of yards through the air. And then when you face a quarterback like Joe Burrow, who can expose you for that, we've seen that. So I think right now it's a mixture of, it was the wrong place at the wrong time for the Falcons, because the Falcons they've been torched all season. They haven't been torched like that. The Burrow and the Bengals are ascending. They're playing their best football right now. While a lot of teams are flatlining or a lot of teams are regressing, they're one of the few teams outside of the Bills and the Chiefs that are ascending right now. Everyone else is trying to figure themselves out. So the Bengals fans should feel good about what they saw yesterday, even though Kinner's here to try to water it down. I know deep down they're ascending and playing really good football right now, something they weren't doing to start the season.
Well, I'll tell you how I think the Browns could win, and they definitely have the horse to do this. The same way the Packers got beat. The Packers had the ball for less than 23 minutes, and the Redskins Commandos had the ball for over 37 minutes. And I think the Browns could do that. I think with their running game, they could do that to Cincinnati because they just look so that passing game of the Bengals just looked incredible. I mean, the touchdown pass, not just all the yards. I'm about touchdowns. And Burrow, running one in also, that's big time. That was really, I thought, big time football. But I think the Browns could win if they can just control that clock and just pound them and, just keep running that ball. And they've got the guys to do it. So, hey, one other thing, good show, because you had a ton of commercials, so your boss must be very happy with you.
We had a ton of commercials.
About 15 minutes of commercials, and they're not free. Somebody's paying for them. So congratulations.
No, we are filling up, and that is a good thing. Business is very good right now, and we're excited about that. And it's pretty fun right now. The show is doing really well. So, and it's because of guys like you coming out to the shows and stuff, and hanging out with us, and calling in and listening every day. So we appreciate that. Especially Bengals fans. I love Bengals fans more than anybody, because they're you know why they're the best listeners? Because Tim, seriously, if there was a radio host out there that just bashed your Packers every day, would you tune into him?
Probably, because he'd probably be wrong about all kinds of things. I could,
You ruined my point. My point is Bengals fans tune in. They say they hate me because I talk bad about their team, but they keep tuning in, and that's all that matters. So
it is. All right.
Hey,
Tim.
Hey,
one quick question for Kevin.
Kev
Kevin,
popped out for a second. Kev popped out for a second. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll put it in the Facebook thing when I get home. I want to find out if I'd love to see the Steelers get rid of Chase Claypool. They got a couple other guys doing well. He could help the Packers.
And right now, the Steelers are in a position they need more draft picks. They need as many opportunities to improve that roster as quickly as possible, especially that offensive
I would
line.
love for them the Packers to trade for him this week. So, anyways, I'll let you go. Thanks, Justin.
Appreciate you. 518-1410, 518-1410. That's the number to call and jump in on the conversation. Kev Nash will be back with us coming up here in just a few moments. But yes, right now, look, I didn't even want to get into this Deshaun Watson versus Joe Burrow thing. You guys are the ones that kind of pushed it there. But no, Joe Burrow is not better than Deshaun Watson, or at least better than Deshaun Watson, before obviously Deshaun's suspension and now, being out with that injury originally at first. But statistically, Deshaun Watson, the first 33 games of his career, threw 70 touchdowns. All right, or he has 70 total touchdowns. He has less interceptions, better completion percentage. Joe Burrow has more passing yards, but he also has 200 more pass attempts. I would hope that 200 more pass attempts, that means you're averaging a yard per pass attempt more, just to be able to get more. So, okay, fine. He has more passing yards. He has 200 more pass attempts through 33 games as well. I would hope that you could have with 200 more pass attempts than Deshaun Watson through 33 games. I would hope. But again, Deshaun Watson's a more well-rounded football player. He can make plays with his legs. He's super athletic. He's Lamar Jackson, not as good of a runner, but he could actually pass. Someone said you were bashing Lamar Jackson. I bash Lamar Jackson because he wants to be paid like an elite quarterback who is not an elite quarterback. He's an elite. I'm not even going to be disrespectful, call him a running back. He's a playmaker at quarterback. He can make plays with his legs. He can't make plays with his arms. Period. Or at least not consistently enough at the level of the elite dudes like the guys that we're watching and Patrick Mahomes. All right. Josh Allen. And he doesn't even look close to what we saw yesterday from Joe Burrow. Can Lamar Jackson do what Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, and Joe Burrow do? No. Joe Burrow's going to get paid 50 plus, and he deserves it. All right. How about Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes? Those guys, like Lamar's not even close to being on their level. Oh, well, they can't run like it. I don't care. If I need to run the ball, get a Nick Chubb, get a Zeke Elliott. Get a Joe Mixon before 2022. Stop it with that. Stop. You're not going to. The Lamar war is over. He lost. And if he gets paid, then he technically wins. But then guess what, Bengals fans? We all don't like one another that much. But you know what? Then me and you win. We should all be hoping that the Ravens are foolish enough to give Lamar that contract because that's good for us. That's a couple more wins per season. Even though you guys have lost to them, we lost to them. But you see the point. We'll be right back. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
WING 1410 Dayton. Dayton's ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
The mid-afternoon and early evening will be partly cloudy, a high near 80. Tonight's going to be partly cloudy, a low near 55. And tomorrow will be partly cloudy, a high near 80. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Are you involved with a school or charitable fundraiser that holds an auction, bid and buy booth, or a raffle to raise money? Many of the most popular items at auctions or booths are autographed sports memorabilia items. How can you get great items in your event? Call Adam Walter at Sports Investments. Sports Investments has a consignment program for fundraisers that has provided outstanding items. You select items that are proven sellers, including autographed pieces from Tiger Woods, LeBron James, Joey Votto, the Big Red Machine, the Bengals, the Browns, UC, XU, UK, NKU, Dayton, Louisville, Notre Dame, and Ohio State. Sports Investments consigns the items to your group at a highly discounted price. And when they sell, you keep the profit. You don't pay anything in advance. And if something doesn't sell, you simply return it. You'll enjoy the experience of dealing with the Walter family. Call them at 513-891-5000. Email Adam at sportsinvestments.com or visit them on Montgomery Road, right off I-275, just 40 minutes from WING.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Violent people lurking freely in your neighborhood. It's not a horror film. It's a horrible court decision creating a revolving door for accused violent criminals.
I'm Jason Pappas from the Ohio Fraternal Order of Police. The Ohio Supreme Court recently ruled that the safety of our families can never be considered when setting bail amounts. That's wrong. That's why 25,000 members of the Fraternal Order of Police endorsed Sharon Kennedy, Pat DeWine, and Pat Fisher. They spoke out for public safety.
I'm Justice Sharon Kennedy, and I spoke out because, as a former police officer, I know communities need protection.
I'm Justice Pat DeWine, and I spoke out because public safety must be part of the consideration when setting bail amounts.
I'm Justice Pat Fisher. I spoke out about this problem too. Judges have a solemn responsibility to keep our communities safe.
Vote for Republican Justices Sharon Kennedy, Pat DeWine, and Pat Fisher.
Paid for by the Ohio Republican Party.
Repeat after me. I, Kevin, take you, Susan.
I, Kevin, take you, Susan.
It's Jamie from Progressive. Jamie. No, it's all right. I can talk. Progressive protects you 24/7, which means you can contact us anytime. I'm getting a loud shh sound, so I'm going to talk louder. What can I help you with today? Oh, yeah, Progressive can do that. Ugh, there's that noise again. Hold on. Let me put you on speaker.
Contact us 24/7 on the phone, online, or on the mobile app. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Covered subject to policy terms.
If you work remote, Staples has you covered.
Stylish office decor to turn my finished basement into a complete workspace solution.
Staples has you covered.
A desk that's all business, but not too businessy.
Staples has you covered with remote workspace solutions. And now at Staples, save 25% on all desks, storage and filing products, chair mats, lighting, decor, and desk accessories when you buy a chair. Explore solutions for your remote workspace at Staples. The working and learning store. Ends 10/29. In-store only. Exclusions apply.
Don't put it off any longer. You know it's time. Time for a bathroom upgrade by Bath Creations. Bath Creations is a leader in bathroom renovations, providing the very best value in bath and shower remodeling, and proudly made in the USA. With Bath Creations, you get a beautiful modern bathroom that's safe, comfortable, and affordable. Attention first responders, veterans, and active military. Save $500 off your purchase right now. Visit Poe Avenue in Dayton or online at mybathcreations.com and upgrade today.
Attention all business owners who rent or lease space, including storage space. Stop wasting your money paying someone else for your space. You can now save a ton of money and own your own building with the incredible sale prices from General Steel. That's right. Start saving money every month on renting space from others. Just call 888-74-STEEL to see how General Steel can help you save money. Our 50-year structural warranty buildings are custom designed for your needs and save you a ton of money. Call 888-74-STEEL.
Take it from a successful entrepreneur. If you need to expand or start a new business, you need General Steel.
Great team and the competitive pricing is the reason I went with General Steel.
Call 888-74-STEEL now, and you can get any of our popular quick construction structures, including a 40 by 60 foot building or a 50 by 100 clear span building, fast and easy. Call 888-74-STEEL. That's 888-747-8335. 888-74-STEEL.
Hurry and grab the #1 brand doctors trust for cough and cold. Buy Mucinex DM to get cough and chest congestion relief for 3 times longer than 4-hour cough and congestion medicines. 12-hour relief is on its way. Use as directed.
We are Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Down the sideline to the 10 and drags a defender in the end zone for a touchdown. Jackson Smith and Jigba. A 50-yard scoring strike from C.J. Stroud. He'll hit the Purdue 40. Down the left side to the 30. Henderson to the 20 to the 10. And into the end zone goes Henderson.
Don't miss the Buckeyes.
Justin Kinner, Kev Nash, back with you here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM, 518-1410. That's the number to call and jump in on the conversation. About wrapping up Browns Bengals talk. I appreciate the calls, the interaction on social media, people with their inappropriate jokes in the comments section. I don't know why you find some of those jokes funny, but whatever is what it is.
Tell me off air.
Is what it is. They're upset because Kinner trying to compare Deshaun. I didn't bring up Deshaun versus Burrow.
Boy.
They did. So I gave him the facts. Joe Burrow has 1,000 more passing yards than Deshaun Watson does, 33 games into their career. But where those passing yards went to the running side. Deshaun Watson has 1,000 more rushing yards, 33 games into his career than Joe Burrow does. And Joe Burrow has 1,000 more yards passing than Deshaun Watson, 33 games into their career. And he also threw the ball 200 more times than Deshaun Watson did in that stretch as well. So I would hope that with 200 more attempts than Deshaun Watson, that you could throw for more yards. I'm just saying. Like, I don't know what you want to say. They're getting mad. They're getting upset. Billy Wright said there isn't a GM in the NFL that would take Watson over Burrow. Oh, okay, maybe if you're talking like right now based on the perception, but from a talent standpoint, I think with the way the NFL's played today, I would beg to differ. If you take, and you can't, and I'm making excuses for Deshaun, with who Deshaun Watson is as a quarterback, not as a person, as a quarterback, Deshaun Watson is the modern day NFL quarterback. I disagree completely that more NFL GMs and owners would take Joe Burrow over Deshaun Watson. But because of everything that Deshaun Watson's involved in off the field, yes, more people would step up to the plate. They would take the less talented, safer talent than the more talented bozo off the field. So it's all about perspective.
So let me ask you this, not to say that I disagree, but to play devil's advocate. Do you think a lot of these GMs and owners would draft off of what they feel more comfortable with, because that is the reason why Deshaun dropped in the initial draft that he was drafted in, that they felt more comfortable with a pure drop back passer. Do you think that still exists today?
I mean, you see guys like Trey Lance being taken. You watch the Niners give up draft capital to move up to take Trey Lance, who never played against any significant Division I talent just because of his style of play. They passed up on actual pro style quarterbacks that looked more of the part based on his potential and ceiling of what he could be as an athletic playmaking quarterback of the mold of what today's quarterbacks in the NFL are. And this isn't white quarterback versus black quarterback. This is full all out. I mean, Lamar Jackson, the big thing that we keep knocking with him is we know he's a good NFL player. Is he an elite thrower? It's too many inconsistent games. Is it him? Is the lack of weapons? Then you know what I mean? Like that's always the big question mark right now. And it's hard to pinpoint who's actually to blame in that. But the bottom line is that more teams, you look at the Russell Wilsons of the world. Russell Wilson has never been an elite passer, but he's an elite all-around quarterback. Not this season, of course, but you know what I mean? Like that's why everyone lost their mind. That's why Broncos gave up everything they could to get him, because in there, he can make plays with his legs and he's elite with his arm. Joe Burrow's elite with his arm, and he could run for a first down or whatever. But I think that, again, take the personalities out of it. The quarterback that can be elite with his arm and his legs, I think teams take that guy every time, every day of the week. That's just me. That's Patrick Mahomes. That's Josh Allen. But I also have been one to say, hey, you know what? There's nothing wrong with having Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady either. It doesn't mean that you can't win with those guys. You clearly can. I mean, there's a lot of winning going on. But look at where the money's going right now. It's going to the QBs who are the most all well-rounded QBs. That's all. And by the way, if you end up stuck with Joe Burrow, you're not stuck with anything. You're stuck with a winning quarterback. So good for you. Like they're trying to make this into, I'm saying Joe Burrow's bad. He's not bad. It's just sensitive-ass, crybaby, whiny-ass Bengal fans who, heaven forbid, you compliment anybody else other than their precious little baby who finally had a good game after playing beyond average and underperforming for the first more than half of the season. Give me a damn break.
You love to derail my questions, man.
Well, because it's stupid that I have to over-defend myself here because I'm just tired of these whiny Bengal fans who, oh, look at me. Look at what our team did against the worst passing defense in the NFL. Praise me, pat me on the head, tell me I'm a good boy, put a star in my chart, and hang my picture up on the refrigerator. Go sit down. Go sit down. Do it against a real defense. But no, I don't know. Go to a Super Bowl and then not start the season 4-3. How about that? How about that? You want me to pat you on the head and tell you, good boy, roll over, give you a treat. You're a good boy. Oh, give me a break. 518-1410.
You just totally messed up my thing, man.
I'm sorry. James, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great, my friend. How are you guys doing?
Fantastic. It's been a while.
Right. Where you been at?
It's been 3 or 4 months.
Go Wildcats.
Yeah, that's right. Still a Wildcat, although let's not talk about that. It's been since we went to the Super Bowl that I traveled to the Super Bowl the last time I called in, so it's been a while. But I will say this, just in listening, Justin, the narrative seems to be the same as it was 6 months ago. Like, and again, I love you, brother, but what you're always saying is like, hey, look, I have nothing against the Bengals, nothing against Joe Burrow, and you are come across as defensive about your comments regarding Burrow and the Bengals. But then you spin it around and say it's the other people and the comments you just made. I mean, Deshaun Watson's a great quarterback, no question. There's no question on it. But Burrow, and I would say an elite quarterback, but Burrow is as well. And really, you're picking, between which is the better of the best. They're both elite quarterbacks. That's the main message.
And I said that.
So what is your concern with Bengals fans that they whine about
this
that
call
you're
right
not
here is the
celebrating Joe
concern I
Burrow
have.
enough?
I said if I had to pick between the two, I want the more well-rounded quarterback that can make plays with his arms and his legs. And what you heard was, oh, I'm saying Joe Burrow's not elite. I didn't say he's not elite. I just said you fans in the comment section asked me, I answered. And what you heard was, even after me telling Kev that, hey, whoever has Joe Burrow, that they have an elite quarterback too. I literally used the words elite. I said he was elite.
Fair enough.
So yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah. So Lamar Jackson, you would also, because he is more elite with both his arm and his legs.
He's not elite with his arm.
You would. I'm sorry?
He's not elite with his arm, in my opinion.
How would you rank those three QBs?
Deshaun, Joe Burrow, or Joe Burrow, Deshaun. It's a coin flip. My preference is quarterbacks who can make plays with their legs and arms. Not that Joe Burrow can't. He could pick up a first down with his legs. I just prefer Joe Burrow the person over Deshaun. Yeah, fine. But Deshaun, the quarterback, over Joe Burrow, I prefer. But you're not out of anything with Joe Burrow, just because I need to preface that one more time so I don't upset people. And then I would take Lamar last out of all of them. The shelf life for the first two is going to be way longer.
So I was going to ask you about shelf life. So a running quarterback, which Bradshaw was not, and Staubach was not, and Ken Anderson was not, and Boomer Esiason was not. I mean, their shelf life, if you're a running quarterback, is a little bit less, right?
Just because theoretically you're just getting hit more. You're more vulnerable. You're putting your body out there more. So much money is being put into protecting QBs like Joe Burrow and Tom Brady and others, while other quarterbacks like Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and Deshaun and Kyler Murray, they're almost being reckless. It's like I don't know what's the right or wrong approach, but follow the money. The money is following quarterbacks like Russell Wilson, following quarterbacks like Kyler Murray, and the guys that can make plays with their arm and their leg. I know Wilson's not been very good this year, but you see my point.
I do. So let me ask you guys about the AFC North. I would suggest the Steelers are not in the conversation. The Browns seem like, you tell me, Ravens, Browns, Bengals, just the AFC North. What do you guys think? What are your thoughts about where that's going to go?
It should be, Kev. It should be Bengals are the best overall team in this division. They're the elite explosive offense when they want to be, and then a defense that I don't think is I don't know. I would take their defense. I mean, there's other better defenses, but there's nothing wrong with that defense. I'll take the pass rushers. I know they need to get Reader back. I love their secondary. You know what I mean? Like I like the Bengals defense. They should win this division. They are the most explosive, well-rounded team in this division. It actually should not be close right now, but I think the Ravens are second best, and I think the Steelers are the third best team. From coach to just how they operate, but I think the Browns have more talent, so it's a coin flip there too. But I think the Browns right now, they don't deserve. They're playing like the worst team in the division, and that's even more than the Steelers. The Steelers fought hard last night. I don't know.
With the Bengals injuries on defense versus then acknowledging that, and then looking at what the Ravens have, and I don't know. I would love to think the Bengals are the favorite, but the Bengals injuries on defense scare me.
Injuries are part of it. Look, Browns have injuries on defense. They've been without games of, Myles Garrett, and, obviously the Steelers, being without Watts. And I mean, you just got to keep moving. I mean, the Ravens have been beat up in their secondary for the last 2 years, and they go out there and they win football games until Lamar Jackson. They're in first place last year in the division for the final 5 weeks until Lamar goes out, and then they go from first to dead last. I'm not the biggest Lamar dude, but like you see the impact he has whenever when he's out there. They were winning games last year. When he's out, they didn't win a game. So we'll see. Anything else?
No, just so you think the Bengals would be your favorite versus the Ravens?
They're definitely not my favorite, but they are. You look at that roster, they have no excuse. This is why I'm so annoyed with them. They're 4-3 on the season. They're the most underachieving team in the National Football League right now. Like you have Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase,
Tampa Bay.
You have all these. I mean, right now, yeah. I mean, we knew that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were going to struggle with no O-line coming into the season, and Tom Brady with all his distractions. Joe Burrow, we were told that they were only an offensive line away, and they got that offensive line. And now, they're just now halfway point of the season starting to click. I'm not, of all what's available in the AFC North, yes, there's no excuse for them to just be a game ahead of the Cleveland Browns right now, or they will be after we beat them on Monday.
And they lost 3 games early season by a field goal. And
a loss is a loss. If a win's a win, a loss is a loss.
All these games come down to a kick. The worst team in the league, the best team in the league, most of these games come down to a kick. Blowouts are very rare in the NFL. I can only think about 3 blowouts in the league this year. The Browns got blown out by the Pats. Steelers got blown out by the Bills. And the Pats blew out the Lions. I really can't think of another bona fide blowout this season. I guess you could think week 1, Kansas City blew out the Cardinals. But other than that, most of these games are one possession. A lot of them are ugly, and you think to yourself, like, how did this team come back in this game? It's almost like the NBA. You don't need to start watching until the fourth quarter.
All right. It's good talking to you. Talk to you again in 6 months.
Good to hear both of your voices.
All right, didn't sound like it. It sounded like you were throwing a temper tantrum to start because, it's the same narrative as 6 months ago, blah, 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 blah. You're being the same whiny fan as 6 months ago. I seriously said he was elite. And you call, no, you said he's not elite. I said he's elite. He's not as good as Deshaun. What? I have a feeling you're about to leave me for 2 days.
Probably.
So I've had enough of this beat. Gentlemen, Jerry, what up?
What's happening, gentlemen?
Congrats, you finally won a game.
Well, we won 2 of our last 3, but I'm not going to start crowing yet. We'll see. We'll see where we are in about a month. But first of all, Kev Nash, man, I got an early Christmas present for your Steelers defensive backs, man. How about some old school stick 'em? Because, man, how many interceptions did you guys drop last night?
3.
Good Lord.
3 of them.
God. You realize if you just pick one of those, you probably win that game. It's
Yeah, it was really a great adjustment by the defense. I mean, you look at that first drive by the Dolphins, first quarter by the Dolphins, they just went up and down the field, and then they made the adjustment, and then they didn't do that anymore. But outside of them dropping interceptions and them catching interceptions, it was a pretty equal game. I mean, every interceptable ball that we threw, they caught. Every one that they threw, we dropped. So it is what it is. The better team won.
And I can't believe I'm going to say this, Justin. I'm actually going to say I feel sorry for you because that call on the long snapper was complete BS there at the end of the game. And, I know Cooper did push off on the defensive back, but, man, all receivers do that.
Thank
that
you.
call never
I have no problem.
That call never gets made.
I always call penalties on my own team half the time. I'm like, yep, that's holding. That's this. That one. I mean, they were both kind of shoving each other's arms off back and forth. You see that, to your point. You see that there's contact in every single play down the field. It's just if an official wants to call it or not. Point is, You know what? Like, it's the Browns. It's what they do.
Yeah.
I'm not making excuses for it. It's what, whatever. Amari Cooper made big plays for the Browns all day yesterday. It was kind of nice to see them kind of making some plays deep down the field, but just wasn't enough. You hold Lamar to 160-something passing yards, and he's really not a threat yesterday, and they can't capitalize on it. The Bengals messed up by not capitalizing on him having a bad game a few weeks ago, and the Browns screwed up yesterday too. That says a lot about the Ravens and Steelers are the 2 organizations I know that always find ways to win games when they don't play well.
Ugly games.
And they do that better than anybody. The Browns lose ugly games. The Bengals lose ugly games. And the Ravens and Steelers always win them. Now, this year, the Steelers are a little behind the 8 ball, and they lack in some overall deep depth and talent. But we see that more times than not. We almost saw them beat the Dolphins last night.
Yeah, I agree, man. So anyway, I just felt a little bad for you. I mean, you went way out there on the limb Friday. I was driving, hearing you talk about the Browns being in first place, and I didn't figure how you were picking Atlanta to beat Cincinnati.
I just say it was a scenario. It's a scenario, Jerry. If they would have won and the Browns would have won, they would have been in first.
Well,
and you predicted it would happen.
Yeah.
Don't forget that part.
I don't think that's that hot of a take. The Bengals lost to Cooper Rush. They lost to Mitch Trubisky. I mean, my goodness.
They were the worst pass defense.
Huh?
You knew Atlanta was the worst pass defense.
Yes, but that's how little faith I had in the old roller coaster of inconsistency that is Joseph William Burrow. I know. My goodness.
Well,
is that his middle name?
I have no idea. I just gave the bell.
I don't either,
I'm going to call him Joe Bill from now on.
I know he got like 55 fantasy points this week. So, yeah. Anyway.
Good for him. It's a fantasy world to think a 4-3 Bengals team is, never mind, Jerry. You're not a Raiders fan. You're not a Bengals fan. You're a Raiders fan. We're good. We're good. We're on the same side here. We're on the same side.
Yeah, I actually called in to back you up and say that.
Yeah, I'm just head on a swivel today. Head on a swivel.
Super. Exactly. Oh, I bet. Anyway, all right. Well, we'll see where we're at in a month from now. I got a good feeling about where my team will be, but I'm not going to get too cocky yet.
All right. Adios, Jerry.
Later, guys.
518-1410. 518-1410.
I found out Joe Burrow's middle name.
What is it?
This gives me more reasons to like this guy, even though he is a Cincinnati Bengals quarterback. I mean, he is a former Buckeye. His middle name is Lee, which also happens to be my uncle's middle name. RIP to my Uncle Harry. They share the same middle name. So Joe Burrow, down with me.
Joe Lee Burrow.
Joe Lee Burrow.
Joseph Lee
Burrow. Don't know so many Lees out there under the age of 55, though, is it? Me and my wife always had this conversation.
Justin, too. That's a newer day. I don't know any old Justins.
Yeah, I have this conversation with the wife all the time. Like, we hear her name like Mildred. You don't hear too many 9-year-olds named Mildred and things of that nature, You just don't. Like, you're not going to meet a 75-year-old Keisha. You're just not. Or a Kayla over the age of 30. It's just kind of like one of those newer names.
Josh Maloney says, #Kev is right.
Correct.
What up, Brady? Brady says if that touchdown gets scored by Cooper, Justin Tucker doesn't even get a chance to kick at the end of the game, and the NFL just can't have that. Preach, Brady. Preach.
Well, it was what? 2 minutes left? 2 minutes left? 3 minutes left on the push-off?
You would have had to rely on Lamar, Mr. $55 million a year guaranteed, to throw a winning touchdown pass, and that I have no faith in that. #Brady is right. Jonathan Jeffrey.
Well, we don't know if he's right because it didn't happen.
Jonathan Jeffrey says, I know, thanks, refs. Jonathan Jeffrey says, if ifs and buts were nuts and bolts, then Justin would build a mansion. What is Jonathan Jeffries? By the way, Jonathan Jeffries. That's a weird name. Jonathan Jeffries. Is that
JJ.
Jeffries? Is that your middle name?
Jonathan Jeffries Jones. JJJJ.
Jonathan Jeffries Jones. That has a good ring to John, not Lee, something stupid like that.
Hey!
Lee, except your uncle, R.I.P. to your uncle. That's a cool middle name for him. Not. Man, this comment section is toxic today. Jacob,
it's right up your alley.
Kenner, you seem like you're hoping Watson comes back and magically will make a sorry Browns team into a playoff team or even a team that can make the AFC championship. I don't know. I think I just said a little bit ago, season's over. I don't know. I mean, the caller almost swayed me to buy in. I mean, I do believe the Browns kick the overrated Bengals ass coming up next Monday.
Which is it?
Idjit. He said idjit.
Which
idiot.
is it?
Idiot. Right here.
Which is it? What are you picking? Put it on wax.
What am I picking?
For next Monday's game.
Oh, Jesus. It's the Browns. The Joe Burrow, he can't. It's the Browns is like the Super Bowl. He just can't win.
So you're officially picking the Browns?
I'm officially picking. I don't even need to wait till Friday. I don't need to wait till Sunday. I don't need to wait till Monday. Next Monday. This is the easiest game of the season for the Browns. Especially on Halloween at home. And Joe Burrow's feeling himself. He's probably going to wear some stupid purple fur coat. Probably going to wear high heels. He's probably going to walk and make a fashion statement. He probably has sunglasses as big as his face. With a big old sombrero walking in.
Will Myles Garrett wear another Halloween costume to the game?
I hope he does. I have no problem with him doing it. Do it. He ain't a quarterback.
I might need to rewind to what happened last Halloween. I don't think you said those words, but okay.
Who?
They lost that game that he wore that Halloween costume last year.
Did they face Joe Burrow?
No.
No, it was a tough game then. Do you guys remember what happened last year when you talked smack to me? And that was when we had little Baker Mayfield. Now we have like a slightly better backup quarterback in Jacoby Brissett, who, by the way, threw for way more yards against the Ravens than your little Joey Lee. Just saying. I don't make up the rules. By the way, Ron's been awfully quiet today. I wonder why.
Ooh. That's going to hurt.
What is Steve from Spring? What's his nickname for him?
I'm not saying that.
Tampa Ron. All right. I think we got our guy Shaw on hold. Shaw, I have to give him a compliment. He showed up on Saturday. He showed up on Sunday.
Moving up the
We
rankings.
even sat together, had some beers. We'll see how long before he gets on my nerves on the phone today. But I do want to give him a shout out. And I'm rewarding him for coming out by making him wait for a long time on the phone. We're going to talk some college football on the other side. Kev's going to be gone for a couple days. So he was at the shoe.
Yes, sir.
He was at the shoe. He watched the Buckeyes win the trap game. And Ohio State is 7-0 after not tripping up in that trap game. And Ohio State has Penn State this coming up weekend. What led to the struggles against Iowa? Well, I know struggles, by the way. I'm not even bad-mouthing Ohio State. If a bad day at the office is 50 points up on one of the top defenses in the country, you have to feel pretty good about that. Like, you know what I mean? If that's a bad day at the office, what's a good day? What's a good day against that defense look like? If 50 points against a bad defense is a bad, or 50 points against a good defense is a bad day at the office, what's a good day against a good defense? We'll talk about that. And Jackson Smith and Jigba, so close. So close. Did we just watch that one catch for 7 yards? Was that the final catch for Jackson Smith and Jigba as a Buckeye? We'll talk about that next.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
Make sure your home's heating and cooling system is in shape for the season with the experts and community trusted service that you can rely on from William Brockman & Sons Heating and Air Conditioning. We're offering exclusive savings opportunities on the new Lennox system. Call William Brockman & Sons Heating and Air Conditioning at 937-222-8638 today or visit us online at DaytonHeatingandCooling.com. Conditions apply. See dealer for details. Ohio license number 14911.
From the four corners of the globe, the world's greatest set their sights on one goal. The Breeders' Cup World Championships are coming to iconic Keeneland this November 4th and 5th. Over 2 days and 14 championship races, the pinnacle of international thoroughbred racing will put the most jaw-dropping, heart-pounding spectacle before your very eyes. Coverage begins Friday on USA and continues Saturday on USA and NBC. Visit breederscup.com/2022 to learn more.
O'Reilly. O'Reilly Auto Parts specializes in keeping your car on the road. Not sure how much life is left in your battery? Our professional parts people will test it for free. If it does need to be replaced, we'll help you find just the right one to fit your car. Our Superstar batteries are built to handle even the toughest conditions. Visit O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Want to get a $1,000 Visa card from your Medicare plan? At WellCare, our Medicare Advantage plans are simplified so you can enjoy all the great benefits you care about most. Like our WellCare Flex card, a preloaded debit card that gives you up to $1,000 to pay for extra dental, vision, or hearing expenses not covered by your plan. Like hearing aids, dentures, prescription glasses, co-pays, and more. It's just one more way WellCare is improving every aspect of Medicare to give you access to the top tier benefits you want most. Plus, a little extra. To learn more about WellCare, visit wellcareforoh.com today. That's wellcareforoh.com to enroll today. WellCare, it's Medicare done well. Benefits vary by plan. WellCare is the Medicare brand for Centene Corporation, an HMO, PPO, PFFS, PDP plan with a Medicare contract and is an approved Part D sponsor. Our DSNP plans have a contract with the state Medicaid program. Enrollment in our plans depends on contract renewal.
Hey, Buckeye fans, as the official wing sponsor of your Ohio State Buckeyes, Roosters is giving away 12 trips for two to this year's Buckeye Bowl game. Each trip comes complete with airfare, hotel, gift bag, and 2 tickets to the big game. One bowl prize winner chosen each week, along with other cool Roosters weekly prizes. So register every week at roosterswings.com. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Official contest rules at roosterswings.com.
What QC Kinetics is doing for people here is nothing short of amazing. I'm talking real lasting relief from joint pain. Hey, it's Keith Byers. QC Kinetics is a nation leader in exciting new pain treatments with advanced regenerative medicine, non-surgical alternatives. If you're living with joint pain from injury or arthritis, don't let them tell you steroids and pain meds and surgery are your only options. QC Kinetics uses regenerative treatments that can restore and repair damaged tissue. Maybe you've been diagnosed with bone-on-bone arthritis and been told you need a replacement. Call QC Kinetics now for an alternative way to deal with the pain. These amazing protocols work with pain caused by injury as well, like a torn meniscus or a rotator cuff. Call QC Kinetics now. Don't keep living with that pain. Learn how regenerative medicine can give you your life back with no drugs and no surgery. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. 937-936-0325. That's QC Kinetics. 937-936-0325.
Hi, I'm Sales Manager Jason High at Germain Honda Beaver Creek, proud recipient of the prestigious President's Award. We are your local Honda dealer, and we invite you to see our newly renovated state-of-the-art facility. You'll be amazed at our selection, and remember, all new Hondas come with a lifetime powertrain warranty. Visit us at Route 35, just east of 675, conveniently located near Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Germain Honda Beaver Creek, the right car, the right price, the right way. I'll see you soon.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-364-9188. 800-364-9188. 800-364-9188.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
With Discover, you can redeem your rewards for cash in any amount at any time. Learn more at discover.com/redeem rewards. Terms apply.
College football playoffs, Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, and more. Catch the Keith Byers Show Mondays at noon on 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, and we are back. Justin Kinner, Kevin Nash with you here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. So here's what I get annoyed with Ohio State fans trying to push this narrative that, oh, man, the national media hates Ohio State. They hate Ohio State. The amount of love that Ohio State has gotten and the forgiveness that they've gotten for one, not playing anybody, and two, not playing great. It's amazing to me how Buckeye fans still try to spin things as if, the national media, they punish them because they're not the SEC. I'm actually amazed at how favorable the Ohio State national attention has actually been. And that's not I'm not saying that Ohio State's been bad by any means, but all of our talking points of how we try to discredit the SEC is actually, you're basically explaining Ohio State. Ohio State, Iowa, 3-3. If Alabama struggled against a 3-3 team, we would be nitpicking it. Now, again, 54 to whatever the score was, 54 to 10 or whatever. It's not like it was a true struggle, but, talking with Keith Byers about that, because he was also at the game on Saturday, Kev, he was kind of saying it wasn't like they were worried about losing to Iowa, but it was very uncomfortable. They were not aesthetically pleasing. And I've asked him about this, and I didn't expect Keith to agree with me on it, but I threw it out there anyways. What I believe is happening is I do believe, yes, coming off the bye week, you might be a little rusty. If anything, I thought the bye week was supposed to refresh this team and they'll be fresher and healthier and blah, 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 which they were. They got Mayan Williams and Trevion Henderson back. You've got Jackson Smith and Jigba back momentarily. Who knows what the long-term, impact of him is going to be as far as his availability and all that fun stuff. But the scenario I threw out was what's the impact of sitting at home on Saturday, not playing, knowing that the playoff poll is about to come out in a few weeks, and you're watching that Alabama-Tennessee game. You're watching Alabama-Tennessee. You're watching just heavyweight punch for heavyweight punch, knockout punch versus knockout punch. And then you're watching all the national attention. Alabama lost. They moved down in the polls. But, man, I feel like that loss helped them to a degree because it just put their offense on full display. I didn't really put Alabama's offense up on the tier with Ohio State's. I do now. I believe Alabama's offense is just as good as Ohio State's. And I think that, obviously, Tennessee's just as good as Ohio State. I don't know who 1A, 1B, and 1C is, but I do believe it's all 1A, 1B, 1C, no particular order. But I almost get that weird vibe that coming out of that break, maybe rusty because of a bye week, I don't know, but maybe that pressure, whatever, keeping an eye on what's going on with Alabama, Tennessee, and others. We're getting to that heat check time of the season now. The pretenders or the contenders. And Ohio State's a contender. They are a playoff team. They are the Big Ten champion. I still think they beat Michigan. I'm not, Michigan, I do give Michigan this slightly much credit. they look like more of a formidable foe than what I thought coming into the season. All right. The lasting memory we had of them was them getting embarrassed in the college football playoff. And then all of the pieces that allowed them to beat Ohio State last year, the big one, especially on the defensive side of the ball, they're gone. Ohio State re-ups on their defense. They get Jim Knowles. So I was like, okay, Michigan's not a problem. Ohio State's beating Michigan this year. I don't know by how much. I don't know. I think it's going to be a classic Ohio State-Michigan game, which I always look forward to. I look forward to not knowing. I can't stand a bad Michigan team. But knowing Michigan, they could stub their toe along the way. Bottom line is Ohio State's getting a lot of favorable coverage. They're number 2 in the polls. If Ohio State had 4 top 25 wins, with one of those being over Alabama, Ohio State would be screaming if they weren't number 1 or number 2 in the country. I think Tennessee's getting a bad rap in all of this. I think Tennessee, like I said, resume alone, Ohio State, Tennessee are the same damn team. They're the same damn team, except Tennessee has a resume and Ohio State doesn't. Same talking points as last week. However, this past weekend, Tennessee 65-24 over UT Martin. Whatever. Good for them. Their offense just continues to steamroll teams. That's what you're supposed to do. People are focusing on the fact that they gave up 24 against UT Martin. That's fair, but no one's arguing at any point that they had a defense. But I also don't think it's fair to argue that Ohio State has a defense, because at the same time, you played the worst offensive team in the history of college football. My goodness. I just think Ohio State's deficiencies within their improved defense makes them vulnerable. But I don't think that they're going to be challenged until Michigan. I'm not really worried about this. What's the Penn State line? I think 15.5 is what I saw for this, which is actually a tighter line than I thought it would be. I think I'll take Ohio State in the over all day. But interesting to hear your thoughts on what you saw in Ohio State's win over Iowa. Like Byers, who said it was just uneasiness at the shoe. Didn't fear they were going to lose, but it wasn't the most aesthetically pleasing, and that's something that the committee looks for. You have to convince them that the eye test, that you check off all the boxes. So I do find that interesting nonetheless.
15.5.
15.5. Okay.
Ohio State is favored by 15.5. Being at the game, snooze fest. Snooze Fest USA, not only from the players who get the brunt of this, the fans weren't super into the game.
Really?
No, it wasn't rowdy. And I guess we can say that about any Ohio State game that isn't Michigan or a top 5 ranked team and everything like that. We as Ohio State fans think it's our birthright to walk into the shoe and steamroll every single person. And this score is not indicative of how the game was played. 54-10. Goodness gracious. Like, that was one of the sloppiest 54-10 games you'll ever see in your life. So many field goals attempts. And the biggest problem for me, I know you and I go back and forth about physicality in football. The offensive line was god awful. 30 carries for, I believe, under 70 yards. I can get the exact number. 30 carries for 66 yards as a team. That's not going to get it done. That's not going to get it done versus the competition. You were able to do that because you know that Iowa's not going to move the ball against me and you playing DB. They're just not. They're just plain and simple. They're not. They scored a touchdown because of their defense. They had a pick six or a scooping score. It was just so lackadaisical from the offense. Now, with that being said, they still scored 54 points. And we watch Ohio State from kickoff till they sink in Carmen, Ohio. The committee is like, all right, they're up. I'm not watching that. I'm going to watch a different game. So we can nitpick every single thing and look at it from the perspective of who they have to play in the future. And I think that's perfectly fair. And I think that's perfectly fair for every fan base out there to nitpick their team and say what we need to do better. And for people thinking like, oh, man, this Ohio State team is unbeatable, yada, yada, yada. Well, every team is beatable, especially this top tier level of team out there. This is not a situation where like, oh, man, Ohio State can bring their B game and win all these games. It's just not, because if you play Alabama with the offensive line style that you did against Iowa, you're going to get steamrolled, because guess what? Alabama's going to sack the quarterback a lot more. They're going to get after him, and him sitting pretty in the pocket throwing darts. That's not going to happen versus Alabama. So my challenge is to the offensive line to step their game up, because you don't want to have to throw the ball, to move the ball. They had to throw the ball to move the ball down the field because the run game was non-existent.
518-1410. We close out the show with Mr. Shaw. Shaw, how are you? Welcome.
Welcome.
How you doing, fellas?
What are you doing taking the mic away? You're going to make me talk to him by myself? No, I'm just joking. Shaw doing good. Kev's choking over here. He's getting choked up because he's about to leave the show for a couple days. So, you know. Yeah.
I got you.
All right. We have about 4 minutes.
Okay. Quickly, I don't want to. I understand the sloppiness and everything. I give it a little bit of a pass, and here's why. Your offense isn't really used to getting the ball on your side of the 50 every time you touch the ball. My bigger take on everything, and it's not even necessarily Ohio State or Michigan. It's the Big 12 and the Little 2. The Big 2 and the Little 12. Sorry, I got that backwards.
You had an hour and a half to work on that, and you fumbled it. My goodness.
Right, I know. It's sitting here thinking about everything I wanted to say and fumble it. But anyhow, disappointed in Penn State, disappointed in Wisconsin, disappointed in Sparty, disappointed in everybody that thought that they were supposed to be something in this conference this year. The sad part about this is we're not going to know anything truly about Ohio State or Michigan until they play each other. It's disgusting. It kind of pisses me off if you really want to ask me and talk to me about it sometime off air. It's completely frustrating. Iowa played the best they could play defensively. Why was it so flat in the shoe? Because everybody in the shoe knows Iowa's offense is god awful, and it doesn't matter what we did, what you guys did, that we were still going to walk out of there with a victory. The defense could stop the offense, but their offense isn't going to move the ball 20 yards. So we'll get the ball back at the 50. The biggest takeaway I have coming out of that game, if I was an Ohio State fan, you walked into there as top 3, I believe, red zone offenses in college football. How many field goals did you have to kick in the red zone against a quasi-decent defense? That would be the worry. That was the same way Michigan beat you last year, getting the quarterback, forcing you guys to kick field goals, not allowing touchdowns, and making you guys drive the field. Michigan's not going to give you the ball on the 40-yard line moving in to score every single time. I'm not saying we're going to win the game. I don't know yet. Too many games in between. We could lose this week, for God's sake.
Who y'all got this week?
Who we got this week? We got Sparty.
Oh, don't worry.
Tucker. Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You'll get your
No,
first dub
over
Coach Tucker.
I can't go there. This is their Super Bowl. Yes, on paper we should have steamrolled them last year. And yeah, we were on the road. This year they're on our house, but until we beat them down and stomp them in the ground and don't let them wake up, and I hope we beat them 77-3, but until that happens, I can't sit here and say, oh yeah, we got it.
They're no yet. Hawaii and Colorado State.
Correct. They're going to come in. Here's the funny part about this. They're going to come in and play Michigan better than Penn State did. That's the sad part about this.
And that's on you guys.
Michigan State. Because I see what you're trying to do there, but no, that's on Michigan State and that's on Penn State. Michigan State actually comes in, and this is their Super Bowl. They want to play this game. Penn State, by the overrated Franklin and the garbage that he is as a coach, comes in there not even prepared, and he's more worried about what happens in the tunnel than actually what happens on the field.
Now, and Shaw, real quick, I cut you off, not because I'm being a jerk. It's because I have these like little hard counts on me to make sure we get these little spots in. Because, we got a lot of people advertising in the show now, which is pretty dang cool. So I got to keep them happy. It means we got to get these commercials in. Shaw, made you wait a long time. Won't make you wait as long next time. Maybe I will. I haven't decided. But
good luck the next 2 days, guys. Let me get a couple of these in for the time that I'm going to be out.
The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash here on 1410 ESPN Radio. No Kev Nash tomorrow, Wednesday, but we will have ESPN Radio's Jason Fitz hanging out with us tomorrow. And we'll chat with him about, again, the college football playoff poll. Let's see. Today is the 24th. So I guess, Kev, my birthday is a week from Wednesday. And the first college football playoff poll comes out a week from Wednesday. This is a big week.
Turn up.
All right, folks. Have a great night. Until tomorrow, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Justin Kinner back with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Get ready, Ohio. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is coming to the Buckeye State. And to kick things off, you can get started with $100 in free bets as an early sign-up bonus. Plus, when you sign up today, use my promo code Kinner, Kinner. Then you will be all set for when FanDuel goes live in Ohio. Then you can bet on all of your favorite teams and all of your favorite sports with $100 in free bets. I think that's pretty cool. All you got to do is download the app. When you register, you use my promo code Kinner, my last name, Kinner. And then you're going to have $100 in free bets waiting for you in your account when sports betting goes live here in the state of Ohio. Just download